on, especially for a lot of kills that you're going to be looking for, is going to be paramount. As talking about looking for kills, we're going to be seeing Jail and OUG immediately going hand to hand, quite literally. It's the slap-off! One thing coming through with that Zip F is going to have a little bit of an advantage. However, SS has been the only one managing to get these hits in, and we are going to see the teammate come through. Rico was able to find a staff, will be able to take the Zip down. And OUG with a better landing will be able to find the first blood, as over in the meantime, outside the Trove, Stash rather, we're going to see OUG's other player, Jinyu, trying to get his hands on some Fireflies, but fall prey to the entire stack of JL, who were able to get their Hardy ultimate online already first. TXJ was able to nab all of those consumables, and as a result gets a lovely little fly through to be able to take out a couple of players from OUG's side. Rika going to be staying behind to be able to find the res as TXJ goes for the overhold on those fist blades. Now in the 1 versus 1 against SS, who's going to be able to come out on top. Tap dodge to be able to get the second stage immediately out of the focus strike. Does get parried, however, by Rico. Combo breaker now coming on through to escape out of that horizontal follow-up punishment. But here comes TXJ yet again, camping the body from OUG's team so that they can't find their revive, all the while buying time for his players to start rotating over. VVV and Jinyu now appearing on the mini-map, and OUG have to make themselves scarce.
They do indeed. WBG, they are coming in. They know that this specific spot is a very popular area for players to spawn early on, as it is packed, jam-packed with Fireflies. You know, you have, actually, let me count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right now, right there next to the door to the stash, and then you have 3 more in this area. One right next to where OUG Jinyu was just standing, and then there's a couple more very, very close by. So this is a very popular position for players to land on these Firefly maps on Morris Isle, and WBG having looted up elsewhere, now coming in, definitely looking for that timing attack situation, and it looks as though they're going to be finding it. They're going to be able to find the fight that they were looking for early on. Viper all coming out from OUG but Jing managing to break line of sight, now looking to re-engage with this Kylan ultimate. The car crash flying through the windshield, catching OUG on the jump, but it's going to get denied by the Wu Chen teleport, if only for a few moments, as WBG are hot on their heels, immediately looking for the chase down. They've got the grapples. However, speaking of grapples, it doesn't look as though OUGSS has any grapples to his name, as they've just barely managed to just get just a little bit of resources. Double white armor and a blue. They don't have very much to their name right now, but WBG know it. They're looking to try and take full advantage of the situation. Jing eating a little bit of damage, the silence coming through, but Walker able to go for that whole dodge into parry. Very nicely done. Going to be able to get the punishment. The Tessa ultimate is going to come through, catching all 3 members. 2 trying to look for the follow-up damage as the other cleanses their soul. Jing now getting knocked out of the focus by Rico. Jinyu looking to follow up, but are they going to be able to actually finish this off? 2 versus 3 situation. It's not looking too good for them. Rico sending out that blue focus during Jing's LMB animation, able to catch him without the chance to cancel out Jing. It's not looking good, though. It's looking pretty cooked. WBG going to be able to successfully take down OUG.
Yeah, in the meantime, we've got Wolves and KLA fighting inside the Forbidden Seal, so no ultimates on the field. 17S already down. CXC and QGG. No ultimates to be able to just break away from the Spider's pussy as he gets hit into the stone form with that pole sword, tries to break away, has to utilize the combo breaker of the F1 on that Cullen, finds a massive parry, doesn't manage to find the follow-up though, with the Tesla coming through with the combo breaker on the F ability to be able to peel for her player, and as a result, Wolves will be able to pick up all 3 of the kills onto the side of KLA. Is moving over to Graveyard. We've got BBE going head-to-head with Alliance. Lions thinking about maybe taking that fight before deciding to back on off. NY7 healing fully up before they try and drop on through. Comes through with the F3 hit of that Viper. Still hasn't utilized that V1, and so it's going to be a Tester ultimate to open things up, get the 3-second stun enchantment for NY7 to be able to come through and start putting a little bit more pressure on off of the charged R&Bs on the Hengsword, as well as that opening scale rush coming on out. Roy He going incredibly low. Tester ultimate now to be able to catch on to 2 players from the side of BBE. That's going to be followed up by the Viper V1. So 8 seconds of stun on the tables for Alliance's players, and they are going to be able to find both of the kills onto Ivan and Fat Milk very, very quickly off of being able to play off of those CCs.
Indeed, what we have here, EWG in a bit of a skirmish up against JL Luoye. A little bit low HP. Perhaps he was the initial engage here, as the remaining EWG members were a little bit behind, making sure that this Moonbane was put down right on top of them. I'm not sure if they're going to really be able to capitalize off of this play, unfortunately. Although EWG certainly has the advantage in terms of cooldowns, JL able to force them off and ice off this pressure. Now immediately on the retreat, VVV getting clipped by the Matari dash. The ultimate now coming out for Juan. It's not looking too good for VVV. He's extremely low HP. No peel is going to be coming through for him, unfortunately. They do have the Forbidden Idol very close by if they opt to use it, but I think that instead of attempting to do that, they are going to be looking for a disengage. TXJ just kiting around these buildings. Oh, does he manage it? Does not manage to activate it. But I think at this point it's rather redundant, as both of the aggressive ultimates, Zai and Matari, have already expired. The only thing you would be denying at that point is the Kurumi ultimate, so not super worth necessarily. However, EWG might be losing JL here. One Fang having immediately disengaged to try and heal up. Maybe looking for the res onto VVV, but I think Juan had the presence of mind to retreat and cover the body.
Yeah, he was looking around, because definitely when you saw that JL's players started heading into Celestra, that is one of the easiest places to lose track of some of these players, as Wolves have decided to drop their Bane's Breath directly through the middle of it, making it even harder for some of these players to be able to rotate through this area safely without having to fall prey to all of the stuns available for this team. Not sure if anyone has been able to ransack Money Spot, given the fact that Wolves are sitting on as many coins as they are, having already purchased a Bane's Breath. I would assume that Wolves had rotated previously through Artisans to be able to grab up all of those breakables. As we're going to have a look at the overhead map and see where the first realm of Yangs are going to be. FPX and OUG probably going to be sparring over control of one of them. Alliance meeting DRG more than likely for control of another, as WBG entirely alone at the moment on the east side of that map, going to be able to try and stake a claim on that one. Who is going to be the first in? Is it going to be all of the teams that are absolutely stacked in loot? Is it going to be anyone getting caught out? No, FPX sends June on that Takeda immediately through the portal to be able to take the head-to-head against Alliance. Not sure the soldiers that they have, but Xiaohu might already have something like either advanced heal or group heal, which would be a humongous advantage in terms of that long-term sustainability. Jun going into the sky. That's an Assault Smolder that's going to be on the field, operating in with the F ability before hitting in with that Takeda V3. Won't be able to find any follow-up on the knockback, though, because he does get hit in the back by that Tester ultimate. However, the Kurumi is going to be able to make sure that everyone stays fully alive. Jun incredibly caught out by the CC. Was actually outside of the Kurumi AoE, but was able to use the Fury shoves even when concussed. This is not normally a composition that goes inside the realm of Yang, but Alliance, looking to try and find the full lockdown, have already utilized another Tester ultimate to catch on to this. Takeda, the charged RB on the Hengsword, sets up the charged RB on the fan, and there's nothing that Jun can do.
Very nicely done. I do want to talk a little bit more about that fight after, but we'll We'll have to wait for the moment. DRG and EWG are scrapping it out in this opposing Realm of Yang. Dong Xing, having been parried, now trying to stay within the Kurumi circle. Both of the Kurumi circles are down. The Zai ultimates now coming online. Luo Ye. Ooh, I think he may have... I think the timing was a little bit scuffed there. He did end up getting hit by the fire tick, and now it's looking up for DRG. It is a 3 versus 1 situation for poor Cookie, the lone Kurumi. It's not looking too good for him, and now, I mean, just send out the Matari ult just to top it all off, the icing on the cake. You had no chance, buddy. But good for DRG. They're going to be able to secure themselves a golden weapon for Dongxing. Going to be definitely doing quite a bit of damage with that Zai ultimate very, very early on. And this is exactly what you want for certain characters, such as the Zai, as your ultimate's damage scales off of the weapon rarity that you have in your hand when you use the ultimate, when you activate it. But now, back to Alliance, the winners of their Realm of Yang on the Viper composition. Very interesting decision from them to go into the Realm of Yang with this comp. They are taking the scrap up against Wolves. XEM taking a lot of damage. Nice 7 trying to lock him down, but getting stuck on this wall. Looks as though Bowder also making their way in, coming into the mix. And HQ trying desperately to disengage, but it's pretty difficult. They are going to be able to pick up the kill. However, the denial on the resurrection might be a bit too much to ask for. NY7 trying to support his teammates, but Yuma is going to go down regardless. No ultimates as the no ult zone is in play. It looks as though Bowder taking full advantage of the situation. Very nice execution, immediately pulling the trigger onto Alliance, able to lock them down. Thankfully, though, for Alliance, they are going to be making it out alive with all of their loot, regardless, as they did have that Vermilion Bird's Might. And also, on top of that, I'd like to add 14 kills! 14!
Yeah,
That's
I told you. There are some teams that you just look and you're like, oh, they're already past 10. And it's not even past the second Realm of Yang. I mean, they are on a composition which is bolt preferred partying and getting incredibly aggressive right off of the rip, as we are going to be seeing FPX going head-to-head with EWG. Jun trying to come on through and find these kills and cleanse that Yang depletion. Kurumi Armor Circle has gone out for both of these players. And you can see the cannon pressure coming on through, as Xiaohu is going to give the Temi that Kurumi to have it start going forward and playing aggressively, as Jun's going to play a little bit further back with that Takeda ultimate and the Furin shoves in case any of the teams of EWG try and put pressure on that support. Jun, however, will be able to find the kill onto Liuye, has one more shove to his name, grabs the Soul Bloom before another play can come through and nab it on out. As OUG are also in the area looking to be able to come through and third party. Wolves and DRG going head-to-head. Currently, Kakaishi going to be going a little bit low into the corruption to take damage, but Gem is about to get an absolute monstrous Viper V1, and that is going to be all of the kills. Pop, pop, pop goes the White Tiger's prowess. I really do think we need to rename it to White Wolves prowess at this point, because Wolves are just the best team at utilizing this buff.
I thought you were going to say wolves are the aggressors, or just as in the animal. And then I thought, but the tigers are pretty ferocious as well. But then I immediately clocked it that wolves has certainly been making a name for themselves as a very good utilizers of this buff. Yuma taking a little bit of damage there from the ballista. I'm not sure who exactly is on the ballista at the moment, but they're certainly trying to catch a little bit of damage, a little bit of poke on these teams rotating in from the storm. However, neither of them are going to be sticking around for very long. Alliance and Wolves both trying to make their way into the zone. The question is, are these teams going to be looking to go into the Realm of Yang? And actually, back to that thought that I was that I had before, is that I don't know. I mean, so as you said, you don't see this comp going to the Realm of Yang, right? Yeah. However, is that perhaps the reason why they chose to go in? You know, these teams, they're preparing, they're prepping for the comps that typically do go into the Realm of Yang. You know, they're doing their 3v3 practice in custom games, preparing for Realm of Yang fights, etc. Is it possible that they knew that And with that information, they thought, okay, well, if teams have been preparing to deal with other comps, they may not have put all that much work into preparing to go up against the Tessa Viper Wuchen within the realm of Yang. We might have a slight edge and be able to throw them off their game by going in regardless. You know, even though it's not necessarily the strongest comp, they might be able to get something out of it. But enough of that. We'll have to wait and see. Perhaps an interview will enlighten us later on. But OUG up against FPX right here. OUG SS. He's not been having the best time so far today, getting locked down. And now Rico able to come in and clutch save with the teleport, immediately taking them to safety. But Junks is on the chase, trying to catch them with these grapples. However, OUG did not stop to heal. No pit stops. We are immediately sprinting it away, trying to make it to these buildings so they can potentially kite, get a little bit of cover with this terrain. And it looks as though Junks is going to be giving up the chase for the moment, getting that reset as his teammates needed a little bit of a chance to catch up with him. However, I do think that FPX still hungry, still want to take this fight. Even without the cooldowns available, they still want this. Kurumi Ultimate is going to be coming online relatively soon. They might be able to find a good opener. The Tessa Ultimate is going to come down onto Junks. He does have F1 active. The Kurumi trying to kite away, having been consolidated upon by two members. Junks, the parry's coming through. The Fana LMB is going to be sent out. Jin Yu going to be getting a little bit of damage in the back. Junks, though, the third party coming through from JL. VVV out of nowhere. Just the pile-up. He's coming straight through. Where you going, son? I think he perhaps may have waited a little bit too long to send out this slash, but it's not going to matter. Oh, but Xiao! He's going to turn it around with the bonk. He's going to be taking down VVV, equalizing this fight. Zhao now coming back. Hopefully, I would assume, to try and help his team. Here we are. The ultimate is going to be coming through. One Feng is going to get that parry, following it up with the RMB on the Pulsar. Does have ultimate, won that zipping, so they are going to be able to sustain in this fight. TXJ trying to kite, trying to facilitate damage for his teammate Xiao, trying to kite away now. It's not looking as though they're going to be able to salvage this fight, and it's going to be a retreat angle for FPX. Getting all confused, getting all flustered.
They might not be the most fortunate team in this instance, Duncan.
Oh no! I said that LXM just kills Zhao in the kill feed.
OUG have come back in, seen that JL used all of their ultimates in the fight prior, immediately open up with Jinyu and that Tessa ultimate. SS now going to be utilizing that Viper V1 to put the pressure onto TXJ. They have lost Jinyu, however, so that spacing is going to be trying to bring back their teammate as the charged R&B from this halberds. Look to be able to set up the silence follow-up from the F2, but SS isn't able to find it. And with GG now coming through into the same position, they're actually going to have to try and cut noise, hide behind the rock, hope that GG take JL's attention while they can get a little bit of a cheeky revive behind this other team's back. Looks like they might have been able to do just that, as I do see 3 players of OUG starting to move away behind the buildings, as GG apparently with the distraction that OUG needed to be able to live that one through. Poor GL just get caught between 3 different teams, all looking to come through in third party.
Indeed, now we're jumping on over to WBG, who've managed to secure themselves a Draco Storm buff, looking to get very aggressive. QGG on KLA does seem to be the target as well. He's the last remaining member of his team trying to disengage. It looks as though he was able to access the shop just now and pick himself up a rebirth charm for one of his teammates. But the question is he going to be able to make it out alive? He is literally surrounded on all sides by 1 million players. Oh my goodness. Alliance, GG, OUG, everybody is in this area. All of the players in the lobby. And sadly, QGG is not going to be able to make it out alive and res his teammate. Very sad to see, but good effort. Alliance picking up another kill. How many are they on now? This is insane. They are absolutely stacked. This is.
I think it's them approaching 16. I mean, that F3 on the Viper is just so good for the fast hit assassinations. If those players are low. Let's see. Let's do the thing that we're not. I was right. It is. It's 16. I was going to say let's do the thing that we're told in like day one of casting school never to do. Maths live on broadcast, but no. 5 plus 5 plus 6 is 16. Alliance coming through with so many kills, and that's rocketed them up to first place in the standings. This is something that a lot of the players have talked about in the interviews, the fact that only the last team standing now gets that kill score multiplier, so a lot of these teams are prioritizing kills as opposed to being the last ones alive. But if Alliance are the last team alive, Dunk, they may well put together 35 points in one game.
Yeah.
We've seen it happen as well, which is absolutely bonkers to think that it could happen again in the same season, as GG are going to be showing off everything that they have to show for themselves. I believe LXM did show off a little bit of jabbing a couple of moments ago, so keep your eye on that Viper. That's going to be a very fast follow-up off of the Viper ultimate to come on through, as WBG and OUG find themselves in a little bit of a bow off. No one really wanting to full commit. JL have spotted out the fact of all of these teams in the lobby very much outgearing them, as Alliance see the team decide to give a little bit of chase. Legendary armor on Yuma, 2 purples for the side of Revenge, but what you have to worry about is the legendary Hangsword that is attached to NY7's weapon bag right now. The charged RMB on that Hangsword comes out incredibly quickly, and we've already seen in the Realm of Yang, they will use it to act as a springboard to follow up into charged RMB on Fan. Believe we saw a ballista shot putting pressure onto one of the players when they were trying to find the shop. Alliance see that come through, decide to utilize the Wuchen Windwall to be able to block the ranged projectiles to start to spend some of their coins and pick up some of those Soul Jades of Destiny. Try and control some more of their spacing, because all of these teams know you might only be sitting on 5 or so kills right now, but if you get your hands on that last Spirit Well and its White Tigers, everything can change very, very quickly. So Soul Jades like Merciless Havoc and Aurora Burst are an absolute must.
Oh, absolutely. They're so impactful, you know, not only for locking players down and keeping them in place for the teammates to follow up, but also just for sectioning off terrain and deterring aggression from other teams and other players, to be able to just lock down a little bit of real estate and call it home, plant your flag, and just hold onto it, as it is very hard to siege certain weapon attacks from certain soldiers. As you said, Merciless Havoc covers so much space. Your Dragon Roar, Aurora Burst, Dreadful Whale. You know, we've got so many J's like this nowadays that are so unbelievably impactful. Taking a look here, though, JL look to be in a bit of a bad position. Only 2 members alive currently, and both of them have blue armor. VVV in a bit of trouble, forced to use that combo break to push these players away from him. Alliance trying to catch him. However, VVV has put himself in a good position to try and kite this out. However, as I say that, he's going to be making his way away from the tower. Quick tip, chat, if you're trying to run away from people, no matter how many, towers are your friends. They are extremely useful for these situations, as you're able to loop up and down all around, ring around the rosy, and stay alive. But it looks as though VVV is going to try and max distance himself away from these players, going into the open with his ultimate, trying not to be forced to use these final slashes, as it will cost him his health. But oh my goodness, just absolute obliteration all out of nowhere. Alliance, DRG, everyone just immediately turning their gaze over to him, and he just gets exploded by these
he led them away from TXJ, though. That was the big thing. He led them away, because initially the 2 players from JL were actually pretty close together, so that TXJ would be able to set up the Hardy ultimate and the cube escape for him. Unfortunately, that does mean that the Hardy had to expose himself. So immediately the Kylan goes through, pops the ultimate, paints himself a target, and as a result, TXJ gets to take advantage of everyone looking at the Kylan. Everyone forgets about the Hardy, and he's able to put himself into a building just on the edge of the zone in that corner to try and play a little bit quieter and hope that he doesn't get spotted out, as Alliance are going to start looking, ransacking through all of these buildings, trying to see if they can find any players that are hiding in a little bit low, but also pick up some resources before everyone gets chased into spaces that has already been absolutely picked through. Because when those cannons come into play, oh boy, do your resources start to dwindle very rapidly, especially if Flame Breath is involved. 20 seconds left on the randomly generated Bane's Breath. No team's fully fighting it out at the moment. Alliance going into the zone to pick through some of the shops and pick themselves up a couple more resources. Looks like NY7 invested a lot in shield pots, but also grabbing a couple of soul jades, as we can see DRG on the low ground putting pressure onto GG. The question is, who is going to be able to cap the spirit well that just spawned? The bigger question is, what's the buff that is going to include?
I had a look, Moxie. I had a look, and it's the Skadoosh buff.
It is
the White Tiger's prowess. And
that is dangerous. There's not even a Temi either. Alliance are going to third party this. OUG are going to third party this. Wolves are going to third party this. Every single team running a Viper and a Tessa are going to throw their ultimates into this dome to try and stop whatever team is looking to cap it up, unless they have one of those soldiers like Aurora Burst to come on through. LXM not going to have Merciless Havoc attached to that staff. GG just trying to hold on to the space for as long as they possibly can. However, they are potentially going to get forced out of it by the Xiphon composition coming through. The Fire Tick Cone managing to connect onto LXM, and you can see that GG have to give up space as a result. Really good entrance from DRG. Unfortunately for them, that was the hold on to the space and retain it. If they can cap the Spirit Well, they get all of their ultimates back. So investing things like the Kurumi ultimate and the Zai ultimate, 100% worth it, alongside that Mitari too. Don King's going to be able to utilize that V2, still putting pressure onto the players of GG, but that Kurumi armor circle is going to be running out just about now, which means no muscle staying available for DRG. Kurumi to have to get them out instead, and here comes WBG. And again, they're going to get forced out now. The Hardy immediately having to pop everybody out of there because Wolves came through with a huge Viper V1, which would have stunned everyone up, and GG, having been able to go for a full reset, now go back into the space.
They want it. They're hungry for this White Tiger's prowess, as is every player in the lobby. They've seen how impactful it is. You know, at the beginning, back at the start of these bi-weeklies, we weren't seeing teams consolidate and try and capture these spirit wells. They just didn't see the value. They were letting it go for free. But now, after having seen so many teams do so well with this buff and get an absurd number of kills, it is certainly given them all the wake-up call that they needed to start contesting this buff. Beautiful parry coming out from Jing, hold dodging forwards into Jin Yu, able to get that parry and deny the pressure slightly. Jing desperately trying to stay on this spot, but it's not gonna be worth it apparently, as Wolves XEM gonna come in with that quick musket shot as he gets staggered by the Tessa ultimate, taking him down. Now Wolves fully consolidating onto this spot. Are they going to be able to pick it up? They've almost sacked it up. They've almost charged it up. They might be able to capture this. It's going to be tight. It's going to be close. GG not looking to let them have it. The slash is coming through. CJS picking up a kill with a cannon. The teleport coming through, but they teleported in place. They're still there. XEM, last man standing. Wolves, it's all in shambles now. Everything's just exploding. LXM now using that Viper ultimate, looking to get a stun, trying to capture this spirit well, but it's just going back and forth. XEM still on his feet, getting lower and lower, being pressured by all these players. Yuma in the zone on the other side, getting taken down alongside NY7. I'm not sure if they're fully eliminated. Alliance, unfortunately, with their 18 or 19 eliminations, not going to be able to get that first place placement. That's very unfortunate for them, but GG going to be the ones to take this spirit well, getting that full heal, getting that ultimate reset, and here we are. LXM going to be popping that Viper ultimate, the Mitari ultimates coming out in response, not going to be able to get any of these stuns, any of these CCs. XEM still alive, eating a bit of damage from the jabbing. LXM going for the jump parry, not able to find it. 330 now going for that Wuchen teleport atop the tree, taking them out of immediate danger. Kakaishi sending out the Hepta, looking to stagger these players. 330 taken down extremely low. The beautiful parry into the sap, sending them to the other side of the zone, regenning his health bar as well. The White Tiger's prowess is now popping off. The parry, the sap again. It's all exploding. Walls falling apart. WBG trying to stand tall, but they're not going to be able to. CJS coming in with the ultimate now. Axial, 1 HP, does get taken down. CJS going to take him. Walker now using that Hardy ultimate, going to the sky. Going to try and heal up. Put down that cube for his teammate to teleport to. Who is coming out on top here, Moxie? Because this is going to be close.
This is everyone just trying to get out of the range of the shockwave that comes through when GG finds a kill.
Okay, I said it was going to be close and it just exploded. Okay.
I was going to say, literally every single team, when GG were able to cap that spirit well, absolutely scattered. Like, you could see the panic in those players' eyes. They knew if one person got caught a little bit too close to GG, it would be curtains for the entire lobby of Weeping Arcadia, which means they're going to be able to loop through the surrounding area, pick up those Thunder Coins, and get their hands on a pretty free Vulpine Essence. In the meantime, we're going to be looking at GG to see whether or not they run directly into KLA, who have to be incredibly careful with how they play this, because those jellyfish, when you hit them, that poison tick is absolutely no joke. You think the poison tick on Sunwings is punishing? You have not seen anything until you proc one of those bad boys.
Absolutely. The jellyfish are oogly. They are dangerous. They're gonna shut you down and take away all of your health. You do not want to get hit by that. But heading on over to Imperium, Alliance, and the WBG scrapping it out. It's already explosive, Moxie. NY7 almost losing all of his health, losing his life. Thankfully, able to kite away on the terrain using that dagger scale rush. Walker taking a quick reset, a quick heal inside that fallen bell. But it looks as though FPX are going to be coming into the mix as well. Looking to try and timing attack this situation. Looking to catch these players off guard in their third-party situation. Jiaohu taking a lot of damage, though. The F3 now comes out, but caught out by the Tessa ultimate. Walker is in danger. Is he going to be able... Oh, he managed to find the armor swap. Very nice. However, it's not going to save him as he immediately just gets fried by all of these players, and WBG in shambles right now. 2 members down. Alliance still trying to push the issue. FPX fending off NY7. No armor to his name. Does have reset, but opting to immediately re-engage instead. Now the Viper are going to be coming out from this team, from FPX, being able to lock down Revenge, and now NY7 going to be responding with his own Viper ultimate. Is he going to be able to get around the corner? No, he is not. Thankfully for FPX, he is able to break that line of sight just in time, and now Alliance have to retreat. They know that they have no chance of taking down FPX at this point, as they have no cooldowns available. However, WBG again back on their feet. Walker rezzed up, no rebirths utilized just yet, and they have their lives and their loot to play around with.
Oh, but FPX have a Moonbane to play around with, and if they've seen all of the teams in Imperium, they're going to be dropping it dead center in a little bit, surely. DRG going to be coming through, finding the kill onto one of the EWG players with that F3. However, WBG turning back onto Alliance. Not sure if Alliance were trying to find the revive onto their Wu-Chan, because when they had to get away from that fight, that Wu-Chan was currently bleeding out, and they probably wanted to save the revive. But unfortunately, going back for that one player has now cost them 2, as DRG are in the area with Wolves. Wolves going to try and third-party this, especially given the fact that DRG are currently missing their Wu-Chan. No ability to port on out of this fight. Moonbane not utilized by FPX just yet, so potentially saving it for that first round of Yang entrances. We're going to be seeing BBE go head-to-head with OUG. BBE coming on through. Ivan with that pulsar charging up the right-click vertical, looking to referee the situation. Gets the Wu-Chan shield wall, put himself onto the rock and put some pressure onto OUG's SS inside the Hardy ultimate. He set the Q up directly behind BBE though, so as a result, BBE can't fully turn onto the Hardy, otherwise they risk getting flanked by one of the Hardy's teammates. Really smart stuff coming through from him. Ivan still with the charged vertical, wanting to try and find this damage and pressure. He's buying his team the spacing to be able to reset, as here comes JL with a third party. VVV and the fist blades on this Takeda. The ultimate is out. Fury Furin shoves 2 now because he used one onto OUG Shinyu. But here comes the Viper V1 drop down. Ivan finds the stagger onto the Z-Ping, and OUG's the king is going to disappear. Unfortunately, by finding the kill, they put themselves directly into the path of that Takeda ultimate. I don't think he has any more shoves yet. That is the last one now coming on through, as Ivan just utilizing the vertical charge up on this pulsar to keep him ahead of JL so he can find the spacing to get the shield reset, as it looks like JL are going to have to deal with the other surviving players of OUG at the same time. Semi ultimate is now going to be invested from TXJ so they can find the isolation onto OUG Shinyu. They're able to pick up the kill. No! VVV's right. He steals it away with the pulse sword, as rather the fist blades, as VVV tries to come through with the charge verticals on these fist blades. Now has to go head to head against Roy. He will be able to find the parry onto Fat Milk, who's going to go for the overhaul punish. As the Kurumi armor circle is put against the corner, trying to keep everyone from JL topped up and alive. Recast already going to be invested to keep everyone safe through the Tessa enchantment going on through, as it looks like we did see a Wuchen teleport come out as BBE take themselves out of the fight, looking for a full reset as OUG come back in.
Oh my goodness, it's just back and forth all the time. VVV, unfortunately, not able to stay standing and does get taken down by the Hardy ultimate from OUGSS. However, OUG themselves are also in a bit of danger. VVV is going to be resurrected, though. Ivan jumping right on in again with this Viper ultimate. Unfortunately for TXJ, just getting locked up. No combo break available. Does manage to survive due to that Kurumi F3, but not for long perhaps. Ivan taking a lot of damage now on the reaggress, trying to kite away, and the very, very nice coming out. The bow shot from One Fang, gonna be able to take down a One Fang. Also, side note, what F is VVV running? I think that's F2. I'm not gonna lie. I think that might be F2 from the Takeda. What on earth are we...
It's JL.
Yeah,
They're always a little bit contrarian when
it's
it comes
a little bit oogly. I don't know about that one. Definitely interesting decision. Although I'm not a Takeda connoisseur, so I'm not 100% sure. However, when we were watching that fight, I think I saw him use it, as much to my surprise. I'm not sure. We'll have to wait and see. For the moment, DRG popping down this Moonbane, trying to lock down BBE, and they are going to be able to do so. Roy Hee now being taken down. Bit of overkill with that Moonbane, I must say, from DRG, but hey,
it is right next to a realm of Yang. So yeah, they probably were worried about getting third-partied by teams in the area looking to contest that entrance.
True. But,
especially with like how close it was, and you know that the teams, if they are going to be going for the Realm of Yang contest, they're either going to be on the Tessa fight for Wuchen to be able to grief some of the players looking to enter it, or they're teams that are fully kitted out and have won all of their fights from up till now. Which means that you definitely don't want to be running into them when you're down some of those resources. As we saw what happened when those fights just go on and on and on. BBE themselves are recovering from those kinds of fights that go on and on and on. Not sure if Bowder, who dropped it alone in Arcadia, have been able to get their hands on the Volpine Essence. They do look to be drifting towards the Realm of Young entrance, so we'll have to wait and see whether or not we're able to catch a glimpse of their Soul Jade loadout if they do decide to head on through. As it is going to be looking like GG are going to be trying to put themselves past this portal before either WBG or Wolves can be able to catch it. Kurumi Sava is going to be coming on through. All of the players will start contesting as that portal spawns up. Who was the fastest? Bowder versus GG. Cardi composition with the Kylan, Hardy, and Z-Ping versus not quite sure what Bowder are running. We can see it's the mirror. Oh, okay. Well, let's hope that Bowder don't have Vulpine Essence, because you'd hate to see it pop this early. The CGF looks for the parry, unfortunately goes for it a little bit too early and eats so much damage coming through from you in the back. Jump parry not going to be able to find any value either, as both of these teams look to put pressure on the supports to try and force the ultimate. Hardy Cube already going to be invested. CJS now comes on through with the F1 that gets caught up by you into the meter dump, and as a result has to use the Hardy Cube early, and that allows the opportunity for PTO to put some damage into this Kylan. The V2 now comes out from CGS, is going to be chased after by you to make sure that CGS isn't going to be able to find the cleave for the entirety of his team. However, he went back to looking at the other carries coming in through from GG's team, allowing CDS to start to set up some of these knock-throughs. And as a result, you is the one now having to break on out with that hardy glider, as it's going to be CGS managing to catch onto the player as he drops from the high onto the low. The charged verticals on that halberd doing a lot of damage, as you is so incredibly low, will be isolated from his players and sent off to the soul altar. 3 versus 2 combo breaker used from CGS's side to buy himself a little bit of downtime to get one of the shieldings back online as he comes on through, sets up the scale rush with those halberds off of the pillar to zone the hardy away so the rest of his teammates can start to take care of the zipping. But unfortunately, in the interim, 3-3-0 has also gone down. It's now a 2 versus 2. Yiran with the charge verticals on the hang sword commits and gets jump parried by the fan coming out from LXM, and he does it again. He tries to throw the charged vertical, and LXM is able to find the parry yet again. This round, Yiran decides, I've lost 2 weapons, I'm gonna go for the slaps. You can't parry this, and turns the 2 versus 1 against LXM. One going for the slap, one going for the focus strike so that he can't find the parry because of the stagger, and it looked a little bit rough, but Biter were able to win it out in the end.
Holy, those parries as well, everything. He had no weapon. He'd taken all of his weapons. He couldn't do anything.
Optimal slaps, Dunk.
Optimal slaps as well, yeah. It does so much damage. It does so much damage. But enough of that. We'll see more slapping later on as EWG taking this fight against BBE. BBE able to teleport away with that Wuchen ultimate. Roihihi having been resurrected now. Zwan tempted to just fully engage, but instead is going to be going for that shield reset, getting one of those pots off rather quickly. Thankfully, Roihihi was able to just cut line of sight and fully reset as well. Fat Milk now being the distraction, able to pull this team away from him and buy them a little bit of time. It looks as though he may have actually lost them, cutting noise inside the building, clutching to the ceiling. It looks as though Wolves taking full advantage of this situation, immediately engaging with that Zai ultimate with the F3. Were they able to get that Soul Bloom, though, is the question. I'm not too sure if they were. No, they couldn't. No. They weren't able to get their hands on it, and now Wolves still in a bit of a dire situation, now looking to chase these players down. And Luo Ye from EWG running as far and wide as he can, but he's been immediately spotted out. And I'm by the bell, I imagine. Luo Ye trying to get away from this situation, able to get that Tessa ultimate down and lock up these players.
Oh, but his GG
Dagger's not coming through in time. And yeah, GG, they've sniffed out the fight. They smell it. They can smell the blood, and they are hungry. They need the Soul Blooms as well. They need to cleanse this. Otherwise, they too will be going down. A beautiful parry coming out from CJS again. This guy's a machine. Wolves now forced to use that Matari ultimate. ZK managing to grapple away with the dash as well. Full stealth, going to be max distancing here. GG trying to chase him down, but I think he is gone. He is out of there. There is no shot you are catching this guy once he puts that much distance between himself and them at this early on in the chase.
Really bad for Wolves. Actually, no, they were able to cleanse 2 of their players from Yang depletion. It is just, yeah.
Very nice, okay.
You can see the lack of orange portrait.
Yeah, I thought it was only the one, but they picked up another.
Yeah, I thought it was too. They must have been able to pick up a straight Soul Bloom when they were running away from GG, because the Kurumi had Yang depletion, as well as we are going to see ZK still trying to hang on. Unfortunately for him, he has 1.5 minutes to be able to find the Soul Bloom. He is on the Matari, so the kiting is almost infinite as an opportunity, especially since he has the dagger, which is one of, alongside the fan, the fastest charging scale rush weapons that you can have in your back pocket. And as a result, GG have given up and turned their attention to a team that they'll be able to try to take on too. Unfortunately, it's going to be a little bit harder for them to be able to find the kills, because it is all of the ultimates online from JL. Temi ultimate to be able to isolate GG, Takeda to be able to put even more pressure onto CGS and make sure he isn't able to set up that stagger, gets caught out in the wisp as he tries to drop down. We'll be able to find the knock through onto JL's one thing. That is one kill that has gone the way of GG, but unfortunately, no Soul Bloom picked up just yet, as they have to still look at taking out the other players. Will ZK came out of the woodwork trying to steal that Soul Bloom away, but gets caught up into the Dragon Slayers, into the Nezhas. GG have been able to cleanse one of their players, but I do believe that ZK might have actually been able to make off with the Soul Bloom from the fallen JL player dunk. He griefed GG before he went out, given the fact that they killed the Matari, but two of their players are still afflicted with Yang depletion. TXJ is gonna get parried, utilizes the Temi combo breaker, will die, and GG are gifted with 5 seconds left a Soul Bloom so that they only lose one of their players to Yang depletion. What a bailout coming on through for GG to try to recover this from.
Yeah, actually clutch coming out from GG. JL just not able to stay standing and lose 2 members. Now a lonely Takeda is going to be tasked with getting the rebirth charms for his teammates, or in fact perhaps not. No shot, right? GG is immediately coming through.
This?
They're gonna get another kill.
See this?
No, we don't get to see it. Oh well, we're going into the realm of Yang instead, and we've got Bowder going up against WBG. And this is Zai Siphon up against the Kylin Hardy. Walker going to the sky with that golden dagger, managing to clip one of the players, going for that F3, not finding the confirmation peak, and now getting grappled at the sky. He tries to follow up. Walker getting knocked down now, getting forced up against the pillar, constantly trying to tap dodge away. He manages to avoid most of the damage. Peak now getting caught out of the sky by the F3. The fire damage has been applied, not going to be healing as much. Does not manage to connect the next one though. The chains are coming through, and it looks as though Peak might get fully deaded here. It's not looking good for him. He does indeed go down. WBG are dictating the pace of this fight. Walker just running through them with this Zai ultimate. They're trying their best. You with that F1 going to be coming in and trying to delay the inevitable, but he is going to go down as well. And now the lonely Hardy in the sky. The bird is going to be caught, I imagine, getting roasted for supper. Walker trying to catch him. The dagger flying through. Year Run goes back to the sky using that cube, charging up the blue, but not able to get anything from it. And there it is, the Matari dash to finish him off. And WBG are going to be taking the dub in their realm of Yang, getting themselves their hands on another golden dagger. You thought one was good, and now you got 2. What's better than 1 bag of crisps? 2 bags of crisps. And there we are.
2 with Assassin's Lunch, which Walker
exactly.
has. So keep your eye on that one. In the meantime, by the way, it should be noted that GG were able to take out both players from JL, both VVV who got rezzed and TXJ. So that is unfortunately JL knocked entirely out of this lobby, but it did mean that GG are now up to 5 kills in comparison to Alliance of 7. However, the team that are currently leading the lobby is all tied. Both WBG and DRG 1 away from hitting double digits coming on through, but WBG in a much healthier position than DRG, given the fact that DRG are currently missing, unfortunately, one of their players. As WBG, having won that Realm of Yang, now get Mystic Might to carry on this aggression, as Alliance have been able to track down one of the players from DRG. Are they going to go for the full commitment? Looks like Donkey unfortunately had to just teleport out of the zone, but that immediately put him into the waiting arms of the 2 other players from Alliance. Really smart stuff from Alliance to send Yuma to flush that Wu Chen out, force the teleport, and allow the 2 players to see where the beacon was and jump on him immediately. As poor DRG, it looks like they went for the play of splitting their 2 remaining teammates in the hopes of being able to live a little bit longer and potentially find a rebirth charm from one of the spirit wells or one of these shops, as it is going to be Alliance now visiting a shop themselves to pick up some supplies. Bowder having to scour the map in its entirety, just looking for a fight that they can take to get this Yang depletion away from them. Were they able to see any teams? I don't think they've been able to find a bounty scroll either, which is very unfortunate. The good news is that there is a player in the area. The bad news is only the one. It's DRG's last teammate, which is not going to be enough for BIWEEK2. They need 3 kills. They need 3 soul blooms. I'm not sure if you is even really wanted to take the fight on the player that spotted out. Is GG out towards the middle of the map, trying to see whether or not they can find any of these teams that are desperately going to be looking for a fight that needs to happen with that Yang depletion, pushing all the way to the sidelines. Looks like there is a Valiant challenge currently on the line. BIWEEK2 picked themselves up that one. Is GG gonna be keeping on the move, looking to see if they can find any players that are a little bit further back?
I think it was actually GG that picked up a bounty on to BIWEEK2, but I think it was done so that they just had a little bit more information. You know, although a bounty, although a bounty allows you to track a team that you could potentially go and take down and get rewarded with some Darktide coins, it is also just pretty useful just to know where a team is. BIWEEK2, they recognized they were very close to GG, the team that had the bounty on them, and tried to track them, but recognized that they were immediately to disengage.
Shoot the bush! He's not gonna know. If they take a fight against FPX, they're not gonna realize that KLA are in the vicinity looking to third party in with a Tien High Farrier and Zai.
Oh, the parry. Very nice coming out from you. Going to be able to delay this aggression. The Viper ultimate is going to be coming out, though. You now diving back in with this Kylin ultimate. Going to be looking to peel for Yeran. A huge cleave all the way through that entire team. FPX just getting bounced around within this indent on the ground here. Managing to make it out of this little hole. And now BIWEEK2 be able to cleanse one of their Yang depletions, picking up one of these soul blooms. And it looks as though they might be able to claim a few more, but Alliance jumping in now. FPX Junk's going to be taken down by them. It's a bit hectic right now. BIWEEK2's you now going to the sky with that cube. They've only claimed 1 soul bloom so far. GG trying to get involved here, trying to get into the mix. Not really able to find too much, committing this Kylin ultimate, but not getting too much value out of it, unfortunately. However, they're not in immediate danger, and they still have 2 other ultimates in their back pocket. However,
KLA been spotted.
Yeah, run. He's in a bad spot. KLA looking to come in third party on their Tianhai Feria Zai composition. They're going to try and lock these players down, but I'm not sure they're going to be able to do so. Alliance is going to be the team to pick up the kill onto BIWEEK's peak, and now he is just going to be fully eliminated, as he did have that Yang depletion. Yeran now likely going to be in a similar position, also has that Yang depletion. They're trying to lock him down. The F3 flying through the air. QGG trying to find it, going up and down this cliffside. Godley grappling through the air, trying to find him. The scale rush, the focus, hole dodging past it, very nicely done. Wolves also looking to get involved here. Godley getting parried, but not in immediate danger. No significant follow-up. But Yeran is in fact going to go down to Yang depletion, as opposed to being picked up as a kill for one of these teams.
Yeah, he was able to kite out long enough. KLA have to be very careful that they do not overplay their aggression. They are sitting on these ultimates. This is a composition that's designed for Spirit Well. Unfortunately for them, because they were looking for those kills, WBG have been able to walk away with Spirit Well for free. This is not the Spirit Well. This is the Spirit Well that does not have a buff attached to it, which is very much the well that KLA are going to be looking to try to contest. I'm just incredibly worried for them if they're just a little bit behind in terms of the loot loadout, plus the fact that so many of these compositions, I believe, are still on things like the Viper to be able to put pressure on that Tien High. It isn't the silence. A lot of these players are running the F3 rather than the F2 because they don't expect to run into a Tien High on Pedori, which I feel is a heads-up play coming through from KLA. Run the Tien High when the Viper isn't on the loadout that normally punishes your composition. As KLA, with all of the cannons coming through, have Bounce Shell and Twin Shot, as well as, I believe, one of them Flame Breath and Rupture Gale. So they are going to be doing a lot of work of being able to quite literally melt through a lot of these armor bars coming through from teams like GG. Banesref's going to be spawning up right now. GG going to have to be careful because they are currently directly on top of it. So they're going to be repositioning over in the hopes that no other team has spotted them. Alliance going to be riding the ballista that's still in the zone. And as a result, everyone is going to be wanting to get off of these train tracks right about now. Revenge coming through with the Wuchen Windwall to make sure that Yuma is not interrupted by ranged projectiles to knock him off of his stance and position. As it is going to be Alliance looking to try and find a lockdown. They've been able to find an isolated target of Barda's you, and as a result, it is going to be immediate all-in Tessa ultimate combo break to make sure that he's not able to interact with the urn and cancel out that enchantment stun window. But unfortunately for Alliance, they did all of the work. They were the one that got 95% of the health bar down, but the rules of Naraka mean that it only matters who the player is that gets that last percentage, and it isn't Alliance, it's WBG. And in the meantime, Alliance actually abandoned their position. They murder-goggled on the kill potential in front of them, and WBG see the free real estate and move directly through, and Alliance's game plan is now being turned against them. Sleepwalker getting hit by the fire proc has to move away as Alliance showing on off with the Katana Soul Jades. Are we going to see them drop through onto a Spirit Well and try and find an attachment onto some of these players, or are KLA going to be able to make that move? 5 kills to their name, but crucially, they have the position that they desperately needed. Farrier V3 already in place, Godly jumping around, showing off the fact that there's a Tien High in play, and if he goes for the transformation, every single team on the outside of the zone cannot damage him with projectiles. They have to come in to a place where he's going to be able to still find grabs onto them if they want to be able to push him out.
Indeed. I do think, though, that this composition might be extremely hard to siege on this Spirit Well, and they are looking very strong. No one is looking to contest this, and I think that considering that no one's contesting it heavily, it might be the case that it is simply just a Mystic Might buff here. As we've seen, we've seen it countless times, that if you see everyone in the lobby consolidating onto a Spirit Well, you know for sure that that's White Tiger's prowess.
Yeah,
if
I think
teams
we're gonna have
not
to wait.
really going for it, you know?
Yeah, if teams aren't going for it as Mystic, I think we're going to have to wait and see to get a proper feel of like whether or not this composition is going to be scary enough that teams don't want to lay siege to it, even if it is a White Tigers. If it is just a Mystic Might, I can see teams just being like, it's not worth the hassle. If they get it, they get it, and we'd rather not mutually destroy ourselves by having to overplay our aggression and our ultimates where everyone else in the lobby just turns on them afterwards.
Indeed. It's looking as though they're just stalling this out continuously, as there's no real need to immediately capture the Spirit Well since they aren't being aggressed on. You know, they can delay the pickup of the Spirit Well, delay the pickup of the buff and the armor and everything, and the utilization of their ultimates, so that they can just snipe it and have it last all the way to the very end of this game. Godley taking out that cannon, looking to try and find a little bit of poke damage, not able to do so just yet, as this terrain is rather oogly. There's a lot of players up and down and all around, hiding behind all of these rocks. It's gonna be interesting to see exactly where the storm starts to close in on, and I think now would be the time, KLA. Now's the time. Come online with that Tien Hai ultimate and then pop that Spirit Well, because everyone's about to start moving closer and closer together. KLA, what are you doing? Get the ult online and use that Spirit Well, boys. What's going on?
Wait,
here we are, the
Farrier mech first.
Farrier mech first, interestingly.
Yeah,
they do
Godly goes for the V3 first, not the Tien Hai ult.
But they got the Spirit Well, though, so they now could literally just get 2 Farrier mechs out at one time, but instead they're going to be saving it for the moment. Godley now in this mech. The Viper ultimate is going to be stunning a couple of these players. Godley does get staggered in this mech, but he's not in immediate danger. The turret form now coming down. CJS also in a bit of a bad spot, trying to hit it around, using that fan, that scale rush to go to the sky. Godley now out of the mech. CXZ now taking his turn for the turret gaming. LXM getting knocked around 330 into the zone, but they are able to immediately get back on in. Godley saving his ultimate ultimate for later on. Potentially going to be looking to use it for that heal-off situation. Alliance looking to try and force the issue onto Godley, though. They recognize that there is a Tianhai in the lobby, and they do not want to allow him to get that full value from this ultimate. Godley now pulling out that cannon, responding with this aggression. They have full knowledge of where all of these teams are with this Mystic Might, and every single player is trying their best to stay on top of this rock formation. Oh my goodness, just staying on top of it. They're getting knocked into the zone, and now CXZ's going to pick up 2 kills onto Wolves here with this cannon. Walker taking a bit of damage. The poison splash coming through as well. QGG now going to immediately jump on him. Walker going to the sky with that F3, forced to use the ultimate, dropping down now 1 HP. Massive aggression coming out, does not care, just gonna get Oogly, get in there. Godley now coming online with this Tianhai ultimate. He's gonna throw hands, Moxie. Let's see it. How many grabs is he gonna get?
We got a double. I think he's already got one.
Ooh, there it is.
He's looking for it. There it is. If you're happy and you know it, clap the hands. 2 players go immediately flying. Alliance's revenge gonna go down. Godley's already been able to get 1. He is gonna get staggered potentially by that Tesla ultimate, and as a result is gonna get taken down by Team GG. Jabbing comes on through from LXM, connecting onto the Farrier's mech, and GG will be the last team standing. However, KLA, I believe, were able to put together 16 kills, and as a result will finally be able to pilot this composition. They've been working on it for so long. I'm so happy to see it finally find success. We've seen rumblings of it doing decently at certain points of fights, but they were never quite able to find the full follow-up. From the very beginning through the middle to the end, GG are dropping somewhere a little bit more south. Might have seen them heading over towards Matab. Either that or they were going for Waterfall behind Barda's logo. That being said, we'll have to wait and see whether or not Alliance do manage to find that successful third party, as they are currently unchallenged. KLA and EWG going to be going head-to-head immediately. EWG able to find a first kill onto QGG. However, CXE is able to find a return onto Cookie. Tesla ultimate comes out very early on. The Tesla F1 being utilized to make sure that they can't interact with the Soul Urn. Unfortunately, even though that ultimate had come on out, EWG are able to take the Tesla down before the Tether can actually activate, and as a result, EWG are the ones that are able to win that first fight. JL and BBE now going head-to-head inside Yushan Ruins. This is the room that you can port into that immediately gives you access to a Firefly cage, as well as the Fireflies to the left and right side of that cage, and BBE looks like one of the players didn't actually go into the portal and is now going to be getting chased down by the side of JL. Ivan with that Hardy ultimate comes on through, tries to set up the charge onto the Tesla, sets up the cube to be able to put himself in the portal, scale rushes with the pulse in anticipation of JL coming through, and if he needs it, he'll be able to glide right back on out into the portal. He tries to go, but he gets scooped up by the fan focus strike before he can get out.
I don't know, but he put the cube outside the portal
to try and
teleport back out.
Yeah, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. No, he tried to go for the glider, and it just gave him the glider where he was, as opposed to teleporting him.
That was big brain, though. I really like that. I completely respect that attempt. Just on the fly, coming up with something spicy. Very nice to see going out from BBE. Unfortunately, though, they weren't able to make it work. They did all get eliminated, at least for the moment. But taking a look now, Alliance coming into Imperial Village, looking to contest this spawn, this area. They're not doing too bad. They have lost quite a bit of health. They are able to take down one player here, though. Bauda is going to be losing one of their members for the moment. The F3 flying in, knocking him out of the Kurumi circle, trying to consolidate onto this player. Matari now dashing through, and Y7 forced to take a moment to reset, or is he's not going to bother to heal here. I think he's okay. There we go. There he's healing. He goes for the scale rush initially, but then doesn't find immediate value, goes for the heal, now jumping right back on in with that F3, trying to find the confirmation. The scale rush is going to come through, does get that kill with his team, and now it's just a matter of jump LMBing this poor man to death. Unfortunately, not able to stay alive here, and he does get sent to the Shadow Realm and is going to be forced to resurrect elsewhere. Now, we've got another fight between EWG. The Moonbane also going to be in play here. KLA doing a nice job of eliminating. Oh no! Takes one down, but the Moonbane responds and takes revenge for EWG, getting a kill onto the poor Viper. And now KLA are forced to try and disengage. The Tessa ultimate did come through, but not going to be able to get a stun and delay the chase down. And now their Tesserault coming out from EWG, going to be going on to CXZ, going to be able to stun him up for the moment. The F1 is going to come out to peel for himself, but it looks as though JL have managed to find the perfect third-party opportunity and timing, and is going to be able come in and snipe away a quick kill for themselves, taking them up to 4 eliminations. But the action doesn't stop there. FBX and DRG are scrapping it out just to the northwest of City of Tang on the outskirts, but it's already over. DRG picking up 3 eliminations, 1 with purple armor. Very, very nice for them, looking to scale up for these Realms of Yang.
Okay, keep your eye on, I believe JL now have the legendary fan. It's very much like that magic trick where there's like a ball in the cup and there's 3 cups, and then they sort of shuffle the cups around and you have to keep an eye on where you think that ball actually is. Because it started out with EWG and then KLA came through and EWG lost the player with the legendary fan. And as a result, KLA picked it up, but then KLA lost it to JL and it just went back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, as we're going to be having a look at a little bit of lull downtime at the moment. The teams that lost their immediate drop fights having to recover and recoup some of their loot. The teams that haven't going towards those shops to pick up some resources, as well as soul jades for the Realm of Yang entrances. As WBG is actually going to lose the longsword, was a little bit too close when he tries to throw out that charged vertical and loses the weapon and gets hit into by that stagger. Backs on off incredibly low, goes for the hit of the F ability, trying to buy himself the knockback and zoning to get the players off of his back, but goes down in the attempt. Teleport from the Wu Chen will be popped. I think they just managed, yeah, there's 3 health bars moving. So the 2 players were able to very quickly get hands on top of that body, hop into the portal up towards Ruins. EWG are going to try and chase. The Tester ultimate coming on through, catching onto them as they come through from that portal. Xuan will be able to come through with that Viper V1, catching onto their players as the Tester enchantment pops on up. And as a result, EWG with the charged vertical on that staff, putting pressure onto WBG's Jing. Now comes on through, but gets parried by Jing with the pole sword before Xuan can find the lockdown on the teammate. However, huge parry comes on out from the Viper. Dragon Slayers into Narcas, cleaving up absolutely everybody on the side of WBG. And off of the back of that one, they're able to find the turnaround and the spacing to be able to pick up their fallen teammate. As on the other side of the map, GG are going to be going head-to-head with Wolves. CGS coming on through with those fist blades down, also holding onto the fist blades, holding the focus strike so he can't get cancelled by the grapple to come through. ZK gonna put himself onto the ballista. CGS chases down with the Zayef 3, no ballista fire shots coming through to GG's players unprotected today. Jam is gonna open things up with the Viper V1 now coming on out to try and force GG out of this Karumi armor circle. ZK back onto the ballista as well, is going to be able to keep up the pressure of the Tester ultimate. Now gets sent out from Wolves, the bookend to the fight, as CGS is going to get hit into that 3-second enchantment, will go down. Very good stuff coming on through from Wolves.
Absolutely, taking themselves up to 6 eliminations now. Getting the ball rolling. They are middle of the pack currently in terms of total standings, 34.7. But if they manage to translate this 6-kill early game into a big big kill end game situation, they may be able to rocket up that leaderboard and potentially look to contest that match point threshold sooner rather than later. But for the moment, Alliance seems to be the only team who are really in contention to actually get to that point, and they've definitely done a pretty solid job so far in this game. 3 eliminations, got the purple armor on the Zai. As we said, the budget composition only needs 1 purple armor for that Zai to really be effective and really come online. They have the purple weapons as well, and it looks as though they're going to be jumping into this Realm of Yang immediately. Alliance going to be going up against Bowder in the mirror matchup as well. They do have a slight loot advantage. In terms of the armor, they have 1 purple armor as opposed to Bowder's 0. And this might be, depending on how this plays out, this might be the difference maker. NY7 finding that F3 drop down, but immediately responded to by Yeran. Yeran also doing exactly the same thing. Now the Matari ultimate is going to be coming through. The F3 is reset. Yeran now jumped, immediately bounced around, also being forced to use the ultimates. And look at that, Yeran has been eliminated. NY7 and co able to lock him down, even inside the Karumi circle. Not going to be able to survive this one. And Alliance going to be taking their Realm of Yang win straight to the bank and getting themselves their hands on a golden weapon. But it's not over yet. Wolves are up against BBE. Roy Hee with a beautiful jump parry. The 90-degree jump parry immediately mitigated by the Tessa ultimate, and now a parry coming through onto BBE instead. BBE, Roy Hee using that ultimate just in time to save himself. Wolves also, they're on the Viper composition. Again, we're seeing Viper go into the Realm of Yang, and now the V1 is going to be popped. Roy Hee is going to get stunned up by this Tessa enchantment, but they aren't going to be able to get that Viper ultimate confirmation, unfortunately. However, I'm not sure it's going to matter too much, as Wolves are still a man up on BBE. Roy Hee is down for the count, at least for the moment. And they're trying to kite this out. Fat Milk, no zipping ultimate, no armor. XCM with the overhold. He does avoid it. Fat Milk, though, he's getting consolidated on NHQ, and XCM are going to be able to take him down. ZK, now in a bit of a dire situation, does lose his life there in the 1 versus 1 against Aibin. Aibin just going crazy right now, sending out these pulse sword RMBs, chunking out XCM while the teammate chases him down. NHQ trying to prevent him from getting that reset, allowing his teammate to get the reset himself. And Wolves stabilizing, no panic here, are going to be able to win the Realm of Yang.
Alliance, on the meantime, going to be looking to contest the Spirit Well from coming on through. Karumi Teva comes on out from Bowder's use that he can get aggressive. NY7 is going to reposition onto the sidelines of this fight, as that legendary greatsword is now going to come through with that V2 to put the pressure onto the players of EWG, catching them into that fire tick cone. Has to be careful that he doesn't get hit into by that Viper ultimate. Breaks LOS before coming back in with the Afro reset. That burning his ultimate allowed him, and we're still going into this fight. Tessa ultimate is going to be able to catch on to the Zion. As a result, NY7 will maneuver himself from the position so that that 3-second enchantment doesn't lead to any follow-up damage before turning back into the fight with that Zai V2 still active, as well as Vermilion Birdsmite for the next 50 seconds. However, here comes WBG, this time with that Viper V1 trying to catch on to all of the players that they possibly can. The Spirit Well, such an easy picking spot for this Tessa Viper witch end composition to come through. Guaranteed to find an entrance in the third party to be able to take place into. The Lions now missing that Matari, missing that support. 20 seconds left. NY7 has to die fast if he wants to be able to come back through with his teammates. He might just try and stand still. He's going to surely go packing just before Vermilion Birdsmite can run out. That could have been devastating if that Zai lived a little bit longer. DRG are going to be able to hound him down and come through with that kill off of the Kylan ultimate setup. Now it's going to be DRG Zip, however, on the back foot, getting hunted on out. Yiran has spotted him, comes on through with the burn effect on that Zai ultimate to put even more pressure and stop the Zip from having that sustainability effectiveness. 50% cut in effectiveness if affected by that fire tick. And Bowden know that Donkring is incredibly low, incredibly vulnerable, and they are full committing to this chase. In the meantime, you can see the other player from DRG very quickly just behind them, trying to see if he can find a flank, as Alliance had actually utilized that Vermilion Bird Smite to come right back into the same space that they went down. They know that there's a fight still going on to Plumed, and they want a piece of all of that action. They want all of the kills to be able to come through and follow up on all of these players who were still fighting it out. As a result, they've been able to take down BBE's Roy He and still have the Matari and the Zip ultimate active for this team. All it took was NY7's Zai V2 and a great sort of legendary scaling.
Let's see it, big dog. Give me that great sword charge. R&B looking to consolidate onto that player. The Matari ultimate is going to come through, though. I think they are, in fact, going to be going for the reset as they recognize there are plenty of other players in the vicinity looking to vulture this fight, looking to try and jump in with the third party at the opportune moment. So they have the presence of mind to disengage as DRG make their way into the fray. BBE as well, also still in this fight. They're still in the situation. It looks as though that BBE, they did lose Roy He. Roy He went down, and I think what he must have had the chance to get himself a Soul Bloom as he was resurrected. I doubt they were able to get themselves a Rebirth Charm and res him that way. But instead, he did get himself a Soul Bloom, so he is going to be staying on his feet. However, 40 seconds essentially left on the clock for this Yang depletion. BBE either need to fully disengage and look to try and buy back their teammates once they do go down, or full commit in this fight. It looks as though they're going to be getting aggressive. Aibin getting juggled now by the dual halberds, trying to consolidate, trying to stay with his teammates and trying to lock down FPX here, but it's not being made easy. 20 seconds and counting. OUG looking to come in and snipe him down. Aibin is going to be eliminated. No Soul Bloom for him. He is going to be dead for good unless he gets resurrected later on. FPX now having the aggression turned onto them. Fat Milk still in the fray is going to be eliminated by OUG now, and OUG with the opportune moment being able to find it and come in and pick up a couple kills for themselves, taking themselves up to 5 eliminations. Also, quick side note, Golden Fist Blades for OUG SS. Going to be doing a lot of damage with those Fist Blades and with the ultimate. Interestingly, though, the Kurumi is in fact the player who has been given the purple armor in this situation. Typically, we see the purple armor going over to the Zai, as she does play that position 1 spot and is always going to be the one initiating with that F3. However, in this situation, it looks as though Rico is the one with the purple armor, but that may end up changing, heading on over to the Spirit Well. GG looking to lock this down for themselves. Having a bit of a slower game here. No elimination so far. However, as we talked about earlier, as you mentioned, GG is the kind of team that when they go into endgame, doesn't matter how many kills they've had, they can come away with quite a few kills under their belt, as they are just that good at team play and at these endgame situations and able to capitalize fully on any mistake or mispositioning from any of the players in the lobby.
Yeah, but unfortunately, that's not going to matter if Alliance have anything to say about it, because Dunk, look at that total score. Yeah. Alliance have put together 9 kills this round and are on 62.1. Not only that, they went into the second realm of Yang and got it for free, entirely uncontested. So now they've got Mystic Might and they are hunting for teams that are going to be down players, looking to try to find some form of recovery, or play it a little bit quieter. Teams like BBE, who unfortunately have only that Kylan, as Roy He was able to hide himself away inside the purple bushes. Ivan got focused down by OUG, who have currently rotated over towards Imperial. Alliance also going to be headed in that direction after first stopping off at a shop and picking up some of those resources. By pitting themselves into that second round of Yang, they've been able to pick themselves up a second legendary weapon as well. So this team is massively scaled They're about to run into PvE's Roy Hee Hee with the Mystic Might still going to be active, which is the worst possible news for poor Roy Hee Hee, who I don't think he's going to understand what's happening until they're directly on top of him, and there it is. Mystic Might is going to activate, and he's immediately going to be spotted out. NY7 receives the call. The player has been found. Alliance want the kill. They're going to have to be careful. There is another team, I believe, BIWEEK2 are currently in the area, but that Zai F3 is going to make it pretty difficult for BBE's Roy Hee Hee, and it seems like he's just going to try and put himself into the corruption and go down to potentially that, or go through the portal and utilize that to try and break away from the chase of Alliance. Nope. He utilizes the portal, puts himself back into the corruption, take damage, tries to keep himself alive a little bit longer. Holds onto the fist blades, throws it out, gets parried immediately, and I think it would actually have been better if he just died to the corruption, took damage instead of trying to kite a little bit longer, because that means that Alliance and I pick themselves up a 10th kill and put themselves onto 63.1 points. In the meantime, GG gonna be just camping out the Spirit Well as long as they possibly can, so they can keep everything inside it, lasting a little bit longer in the open world. Potentially even until we see the next Spirit Well spawning up. This is a strategy that we've seen GG utilize, and also JL in the past when Spirit Wells was still very new to the game and everyone's trying to figure out how exactly to interact in with them. Wolves going to be showing off some of the loot that they've been able to pick up. That's Dragon-like Might. That's going to be available on the dual halberds for them, as KLA shadowing, trying to figure out whether or not there's a team or a fight going down that they can look to third party on through with. Spider are going to be spotted out by Wolves who start to circle. Iran's going to be found out. There are only 2 players alive for Bauda. Looks like they've called it for a split to try. No, they haven't. They've actually stacked that. Karumi and Zaya playing together. The F3, unfortunately, already going to be invested. Wolves waiting for that one to have finished on up before looking to take this fight. Jam charges up. The meter dump gets interrupted. Yiran's on top of it, able to find the interruption before he can hit the golden stage focus with the Zai V2 coming on through. But Yiran's ultimate is about to burn on out. He's going to send the last couple of hits towards the players from Wolves. Buying time for his Karumi F3 to get that F3 back online to tether the Zai, give him that damage reduction, 90% damage reduction for 4 seconds, but it's going to have worn its course. He's utilizing the charged R&B from the pulsar to try and keep himself ahead of Wolves. The Karumi coming through, dropping that armor circle, but the Ballista is now coming into play. Yiran able to double tap, managing to find the roll past that Tesla ultimate. Karumi F3 invested yet again as FBX have shown up. This fight has gone on for so long that FBX have spotted that it's going down, put themselves onto the Ballista, and as a result, Wolves and Bauda have had to put themselves directly to the base, the blind spot of that Ballista tower, so FBX cannot find the confirmed hits and Fire Tick proc from coming on out. FBX now figuring out whether or not they want to keep that high ground position or put themselves onto the low, as Jun is going to go chasing, sees that Bauda's U is incredibly low. Wolves, as a result, now seeing that it's out and free for the space. Everyone chased after Bauda's players, and Wolves are the ones, yet again, that move into the space that has been left behind. FBX not going to lose a couple of players to it, though, as they're able to put themselves back onto the base of Ballista. Bauda this time catching onto the players from Wolves, but he's going to get interrupted by that Viper F ability. The grapple gets the hit into the Tesla ultimate coming on through. Yiran out in the open, gets hit by the Ballista, and KLA. So many teams showed up wanting to take the kills from Bauda's teammates, but it's KLA that are going to be able to find the last hit onto Bauda's last player. With that kill finally picked up, I think we might finally see a lull, as all of the teams involved in that fray are going to be taking a little bit of a reset.
Yes, I would have to agree, although OUG just playing footsies, you know, they're sort of dipping their toe into this skirmish, seeing if they can find themselves an opening without risking all that much. OUG, they're going to be very dangerous with these golden fist blades as well. They could find an entry here, but I don't think that we're going to be seeing too much action taking place, as the storm the zone is going to be moving in 5 seconds and counting. So with the ballista being at the very edge of that safe zone, it's going to be submerged by the storm very, very soon. And these teams, I would imagine, would be more of a priority for them to make it over to the safe zone instead of trying to force a fight at the edge or within the storm here. However, taking a look, I think Alliance are looking very, very strong right now. They are the team that is closest to the match point threshold, as we talked about. And that things could get very spicy here. If any of these other teams know which team is Alliance, it would be in their best interest to look to try and take them down so that they don't get forced into a nasty position next game if Alliance does manage to get to that threshold.
Oh, they've got Clyde Weaver. Yuma's got Clyde Weaver on the side of Alliance. That's one really good soldier to being able to contest those spirit wells. The problem as well is that there's so many teams running the Xiphon composition. So even if you know that Alliance likes to go for the Xiphon on Holoruff, especially with the phasing that they were in, which Xiphon composition is Alliance? Because we see the nameplates, we see all of the wonderful cosmetics. All of these players in the lobby, they only see default skins and no names, so they have no clue. They have to go off of fighting style and weapon variety of the ones that Alliance are running. And Alliance have been pretty good at mixing it up. They don't really have an identity. They're also not really known for going for things like the Spirit Well late on. That's much more something that Wolves and GG like to opt for. So it's going to be really tough to pick out this team from a crowd.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you said, not being able to tell players apart, as there's no names, there's no cosmetics, you know, it's not easy if you kind of have to look to eliminate a certain specific team, as if you don't, because of this new rule set that was introduced early on this year, a team could just take it all out of nowhere, just straight out of the feet from everyone. You know, it's just like swipe the legs, you know, hey, that's my dub, I'm taking it home, and then just end the series early. You can't be letting that happen. If you have the opportunity to extend the series so that you yourself have a better chance of winning, that is optimal, as it were. But as you said, I think this kind of stage of the game, we're going into that lull period where the Moonbane prevents not too much aggression. Some does obviously take place, but not all that much aggression taking place here, as the Moonbane does prevent you from moving around as freely as you would want to. But now that the Moonbane has disappeared, we are going to be seeing some of these teams getting a bit closer together. KLA, CXZ, and caught out of position a little bit, forced to use that F there to disengage. And now Alliance, in fact, are going to be forcing the issue onto this Spirit Well initially and trying to get the ball rolling. They do have the resources to do exactly that. The Cloud Weaver, as you said, extremely useful. One of those J's that just does so well at sectioning off space in certain environments. And in a Spirit Well, if all you gotta do is hold the circle in the middle, you know, a Jade like that is going to be extremely useful. NY7 dropping down with that F3, trying to knock these players away. Yuma lurking at the edge. None of these players truly trying to just fully stand their ground within the circle, as if you overextend and just get a little bit too aggressive and stay inside that circle, you are eventually just going to be pushed out by one of these teams. FBX and GG waiting on the outside, trying to find their way into this situation. FBX having used that Hardy ultimate, the V1, the cube is going to take them out of danger. Yuma now jumping right back on in with that Cloud Weaver, knocking 2 players down, forcing them into this building, and now the Xayah ultimate is going to be coming online. Xayah ultimate wave does go through terrain, so they are going to be able to push this team that are inside this building rather effectively if they decide to do so. The Matari ultimate also going to be brought into play. They are going to be able to lock this Spirit Well down, and there we have it. The buff is coming out, and it is indeed White Tiger's prowess. LXM getting immediately focused down. The dash has been cancelled by the gold focus on the Xayah ultimate, and NY7 runs out of ult, but immediately has yet another ultimate ready to go due to picking up that White Tiger's prowess during the ult timer before trying to get on top of this building. And now GG look to try and resurrect their teammate. However, it's immediately being contested by Alliance. Alliance, though, they're getting burned from above. FBX FPX with that Flamebringer, trying to make it even more difficult for Alliance to do anything. The Karumi Tether has been active and has resurrected that teammate. And now it might be time to disengage, Alliance. You may have bitten off a little bit more than you could chew. Yuma now is going to be eliminated. NY7, full health, full armor, but he can't do anything to help. Wolves diving in. Revenge also is going to be eliminated. But now OUG diving in, immediately engaging onto Wolves. The re-aggression, the third party after third party is just getting so unbelievably crazy in this small space. KLA trying to hold onto this rooftop, trying to get those heals off with the Viper composition is going to be difficult to truly get value, but they are going to have to make it work. And now Wolves XEM is going to be eliminated by OUG. The Zai ultimate is going to expire. Who's going to take this game, Moxie? Because this is getting ugly.
Alliance down to just the Zai at the moment, as the second player is going to bleed out. Looks like it's going to be a lot of these players just putting themselves up into the sky. NY7 going to be one of them, trying to be that last person to come through and give Alliance the kill score multiplier that they need to be able to hit on to that match point. MVP GG coming on through. CJS with the scale rush, setting on up the trap into that 10. It's going to be a huge Dragon Slayers into Nezza's coming on through. As CJS is immediately going to put himself back into this space, putting pressure onto OUG, putting on with that Karumi Tether to give himself the aggressive play that he wants to with the jump LMBs on that staff. OUG's SS will be able to take down WBG. KLA poked it up on the top of that 10. Not going to be able to find the full defensive reset that they were looking for, as Alliance's NY7 is still going to keep himself mobile, puts himself into the tree to keep himself above absolutely everybody, but KLA do spot him out and send him tumbling back down to the low. We're going to see OUG's SS with a huge Zai F3 connecting onto so many players. Karumi Tether is going to come out for GG to be able to cleanse that fire tick debuff from coming on through. But the second that this zone drops, we're going to see a lot of these Zais with that V2 really starting to find a powerhouse of those connections. NY7 utilizing that Zai F3 to still keep himself on top ahead of KLA up in the sky. As in the meantime, CGS is going to be looking to snare up absolutely everybody in the 10. On the side, on the right for FPX, getting hit into by that Zai cone tick that, as you pointed out earlier, does indeed go through terrain. Alliance now starting to make his move. NY7 looking to try and find some of the follow-ups. Goes incredibly low, gets sent packing by the Kylan ultimate, pushing past absolutely everybody. GG, it looks like off of the Soulblum pickup, might be the last team standing, but I think OUG were also able to sustain alongside them. And crucially for Alliance, unfortunately, I don't think they were able to get past that 70 match point threshold. I think that their chances got scuppered quite a bit by FPX with that Flamer, because even though they were able to get their hands necessary to push them over the 70, but isn't going to break the bank when it comes to the rest of the series that they're going to have to play through. As we are going to be having a look at Alliance's Yuma on that Justina. No surprises, it will be the V1 picked up before moving further afield and looking out towards Imperium, with Wolves potentially going head-to-head against both FPX and also WBG that are waiting in the wings, looking for this third-party opportunity. Charged RMB from the Harbors from one player into a second charge RMB from another. Jam is getting absolutely fried into those cleaves. Loses all of his armor, gets sent into Stoneform, throws it out, goes for the actual connection off of the Stoneform, and finds so much damage from an unexpected source that FPX just were not ready for. Unfortunately, he drops down directly into another charged RMB on the Halberds and will get sent to the Soul Altar.
Oh no!
Oh my goodness, that whisk catch into the first stage focus of the Pulsar vertical absolutely mashes FPX down.
WBG coming out of nowhere and just sending the blues from the drop down. You were talking about the drop down that they weren't expecting. No one was expecting a WBG coming in with that one. Very nicely done. Immediately picking up 3 kills very, very quickly. Huge for WBG in this situation. Now looking to try and chase down the remaining players left alive in that area, but we're going to be moving on over to a fight between GG and KLA. CJS finding a parry there on to 330, but not able to fully capitalize on this as CJS immediately responds with that Kylan ultimate, now looking to potentially lock down some of these players and peel for his teammates at the same time. Godley trying to kite it away. He does have ultimate very, very soon, but is going to have to kite just a little bit longer, and he finds it. He finds the time. He gets the ultimate online, and now CXZ and Godley, the hulking behemoths, trying to chase down LXM on this Hardy, who doesn't have his ultimate just yet, but will be getting it up very, very soon. KLA trying to lock these players down, trying to CC them. He does get the grab. Godley finds one. Can he find another? No. He's forced to use that slam, but they capitalize and get the follow-up onto LXM, confirming that elimination, leaving the Soul Bloom for Godley to come and pick up immediately after he gets that ultimate down. CJS now in a bad spot. It's looking up for KLA. 330 now kiting it out, trying to play neutral, going for that, going for the parry onto that katana horizontal focus. CJS now with that ultimate yet again. It might be turning on its head. CJS extremely low HP after using those dashes. He's going to be able to heal himself up and resurrect his teammates. However, KLA still 3-man strong now. No resurrections, though. This might be dangerous. If they do go down here, it's going to be over. QGG finds the parry, but it gets grief. CXZ, what are you doing, buddy? Don't grief your teammate. QGG's going to be mad about that one later if they do go down, but it's not going to happen. They're still going. They're still fighting. CXZ now jumping into that Ferrier Mag 330 on his own, trying to disengage, but it's not gonna happen. KLA are gonna take them down and take home 4 eliminations off the rip.
Oh, that could have been trouble coming for GG, but not KLA. Already 4 kills up, and that's going to be really good loot going through for them. To set up for their first Realm of Yang as well. FX now going head-to-head against JL. VVV coming through with that Zai F3. Karumi Teva now into play. Since the Zai is going to be vulnerable without that mobility reposition, Jun's going to use the Hardy Glider to be able to get himself out, go up into the sky, try to come through with a focus strike unnoticed from some of these players. Has to take a little bit of a step backwards to be able to heal up the shielding. Unfortunately, he's going to get chased down by JL, who see that he's gone for that recent opportunity. Matari ultimate gets popped so that JL can continue this fight, putting pressure now that this Kylan has been forced away, allows them to come through and find the kill onto Zhao on that Hardy. Jun now looking to try and find some of these slashes to set up, puts the pressure onto the Karumi, is trying to force out as much support utility as he possibly can, but goes so incredibly low, has to be very, very careful. The combo breaker of the F1 going to be utilized as putting himself back into the building to set the scale rush up to try to reposition and disengage away from JL. Zhao still bleeding out. Zhao, who has not been able to find the opportunity to try to find the revive, as it is going to be TXJ still hunting them down on this Matari, not giving the free disengage in the slightest. Red flash from Zhao, who unfortunately mistimed TXJ, whiffs the grapple extension. No grapple bump because of the terrain. The grapple got caught locking onto the rock. Instead goes for the slide through off the hitbox to go into the back, so he can't get parried out. TXJ now finding all of the chase with the jump LMBs on that hang sword. Finally will be able to put to rest the last player from the side of FPX. Alliance, unfortunately for them, not having the best of luck as we head over. I do believe they lost their first fight up towards Arcadia, as when I looked at the leaderboard, their portraits were all in blue, meaning that they were in soul altar form and having to find a revive. And we can see, looking at the health bars, that yes, they are indeed missing all of their res icons, as it looks like they've repositioned over towards Celestial Bar to try and take a fight. They do have their ultimates in play. I wonder if they're going to try and take a Realm of Yang fight with this composition, because it feels like it will be incredibly strong inside a Realm of Yang, given the amount of shutdown and control that comes through from things like the Justina and the Hardy ultimate. But having lost that first fight, surely has shot through their confidence.
I will say, I completely agree, especially considering that it's off the back of the previous game where they blundered and essentially just they went down when they had the buff. They could have potentially taken it all there and gotten to match point, and it's huge mental damage. You might think that I'm memeing, but it's not a meme. Mental damage is a thing. It is to be considered with care. EWG, though, they are consolidating extremely well onto NHQ, and they do take him down. The blistering edge to follow up, and now it's just exploding. Luo Ye using that Zai ultimate to great effect. Wolves ZK now being taken down. He does have a rebirth available, however, NHQ does not. And neither does XEM. So he's definitely going to have to full disengage, as he doesn't want to be going down and forcing his teammate to resurrect 2 people as opposed to just the 1. Now, moving back over to Alliance's perspective, they are lurking at the edge of the zone, waiting in a bush, and it looks as though they are definitely going to be going into the Realm of Yang. And I agree, I think this is definitely a Realm of Yang comp. It could do extremely well. And also, something to note is that we're still not seeing that much Sand Siphon. We're still not seeing that many Tumults. Tumult being one of those characters that does shut down literally all 3 of these characters. All 3 of these characters do get shut down by Tumult.
I wonder if teams are saving it for the MVP round, because Temmie Ultimate is the best at controlling Spirit Well. It shuts down Kylan Ultimate. It shuts down Vipers and Tess's if they want to look for the third party. It forces Hardy into having to use a lot of his mobility to get out. That being said, I do believe this is going to be Sand Siphon versus Alliance's composition coming on for... No, that's a Hardy. And a Takeda. This is WVG. So this is WVG coming in with an unorthodox composition. And as a result, Alliance are going to have an unorthodox situation. It's going to be the Justina V1. Still got 4 dashes available to Yuma. Utilizing NY7's cube to get away, setting up the dashes. But the Takeda Furin shoves makes it very hard for him to be able to find the dash through. Temmie Ultimate as well, going to be invested. So that the Justina has to use one of those dashes to go straight on up. Yodo Ultimate now is going to get thrown, putting all of the pressure onto the Takeda, setting up for the Justina to find the follow-through dash to be able to freeze the hyper carry. Unfortunately, I believe that's all of their ultimates burned, and Alliance are yet to be able to find a kill. Going back into neutral, this pivots immediately into the favor of the Sand Siphon composition. The Kurumi Tava means that they're not going to be able to find a kill. The jump horizontal, or rather the jump verticals off of the spear is going to be able to set up the follow-through coming on out of that Temmie. And this is really problematic for Alliance right now, Dunk. This was a composition that was engineered for a Realm of Yang, but they ran up against the composition that had the Kurumi, and as a result, WBG just sustained through all of that front-loaded burst damage when the ults were active, and as soon as it swung into neutral, Temmie with the crowd control, Takeda being able to make sure that you get punished if you throw the focus strikes, that wasn't really a whole lot Alliance could do. They've now got Yang depletion, not a single kill to their name, and as a result, even though they are tantalizingly close to that 70-point threshold, they might not even MVP eligible this round.
Yeah, you are right, and I think it was extremely unfortunate for them, as possibly the one comp that they don't want to run into is the one that they ran into in the Realm of Yang. It's just definitely a rather unfortunate situation, as the Kurumi allowing for essentially them to face tank so much of the damage. The F3 and the ultimate, the Tumult ultimate threat constantly in play. And speaking of Tumult ultimate, it does go down here for the side of WBG. JL, though, they're standing strong inside. They have that Kurumi ultimate online now. BBB having put a lot of damage on the board, having CC'd quite a lot. All 3 of those players within the Temmie ult initially. Now Tumult has expired. Jing trying to dive in with that. Oh, the nunchuck meter release. BBV still has ult active, though, if only for a couple more seconds. Axiao trying to force him back, trying to cover for his teammates to disengage. Walker still in the fray, no HP. He does go down, though. BBV now looking to try and disengage for a moment, get a reset, stabilize the fight, and then come right back on in. Try and assist his teammates. The parry does come through, but the charged F2 from the Matari is going to mitigate the follow-up. BVV now goes the jump parry, but no need. It doesn't matter. Hit him in the back with those fist blades and take him down. JL is going to find 3 eliminations, and now moving right on over to Alliance, a team that unfortunately did go down in the realm of Yang. It looks as though they've used all 3 of those ultimates, perhaps only some of the Hardy ult, as they used it for the cube function. However, they do have that no ult zone, the Forbidden Idol, to play around here, and this tower that they can utilize to kite around and look for a better opportunity to re-engage in this fight. Yuma going to the very top along with the rest of his teammates. BBE diving in, it seems. KLA also in the mix. QGG does have ult available, trying to stay hidden, but his teammate has been taken down. Godley has been eliminated within that Forbidden Idol zone. Now QGG in a bad spot, does have his ultimate forced out now into the F3, trying to go sky high, trying to apply pressure backwards so that he doesn't just get immediately bursted down and chased down by Alliance. They are trying to stabilize. Yuma covering for his team. BBE also looking for this reset. They don't need to get too aggressive quickly. And yeah, Bowder going to be coming in. Moxie, what is going on here? Yuma with the parry does find it, but not much damage. Is Alliance going to survive here?
Oh, it's not just Bowder. It's every team in the area. DRG are here. Bowder are here. Alliance are here. GG are here. So many teams currently in Alliance as a result going to put themselves on top of the ballista. Unfortunately, you will be able to because they want drop down. Viper V1 stuns absolutely everybody, and 5 teams go to an absolute standstill for 5 seconds. Unfortunately for Bowder, they don't have any of the follow-up necessary, and it's Alliance actually who are the ones who are going to be able to capitalize. Massive Justina V1 coming through from Yuma, finding so many players to be able to dash through, but GG were able to navigate out of the stun and come back through with that Kylan ultimate, playing absolute havoc. Yuma going to reposition thanks to the Hardy, but have they been able to cleanse their soul blooms? They were able to pick up 1 with the Hardy, but unfortunately the Yodo and the Justina still going to be afflicted. Looks like the call has come through. 4 seconds left. 3, 2, 1. Alliance are going to be going down because the one player who was able to cleanse the Yang depletion got picked out by GG, and he's going to go down too. Alliance 67.6 get knocked out of the lobby early, and we're guaranteed to go another game after this at least, because they're still not going to be able to MVP. Instead, it's going to be up to GG and OUG and Wolves all closing in on the distance, especially given the fact that a lot of these teams are already logging an awful lot of kills. And now with all of those kills removed and the fight done, everyone turns their attention to setting up for the second realm of Yang, and Alliance get left behind in the dust, entirely forgotten.
That is certainly a massive shame for Alliance. I did say it though, didn't I, before this game, that it's very possible for a team that's been doing extremely well to suddenly just not have a good game and have their momentum cut down. And that's exactly what happened off the back of the previous game, and then going into this game, just not able to find their footing, going up against the one team they didn't want to go up against in the realm of Yang, getting the Yang depletion and put into this situation with multiple third parties. And the reason why that is because of the Forbidden Idol. The no ult zone that gets popped is an enormous zone, an enormous dome that you can see from across the map, and it's literally just a dinner bell. Ooh, we're fighting over here. Come and check it out. And it was okay for a bit, but unfortunately, as you said, the Hardy, the one who got the Soul Bloomer, did end up going down to GG. But now the second set of Realms of Yang, we have Wolves up against BBE. You have a golden armor for Roy Hee here on that Zai pick with a golden spear as well. Gonna be absolutely massive for them if they're able to get the ball rolling. NHQ now going up into the sky with that Hardy ultimate, putting the cube down. I've been taking a little bit of shield damage, not full HP, but it's not too dangerous just yet. XEM does eat a bit of damage himself, and now fading back to get that zipping F into the Kylan ultimate and absolutely destroying, cleaving through Fat Milk, eliminating him, taking it down to a 3 versus 2 situation. Roy Hee coming online with that Zai ultimate, going up to the sky. They may be able to take down any He does have ultimate available, though, and he is going to be able to make it into the sky. And now it is time for the kiting. The bird is in the sky, and it's looking pretty cooked for Ibin on his lonesome yet again. BBE are going to be eliminated in this Yang. Wolves taking 3 eliminations and getting their hands on some very nice legendary loot.
In the meantime, Kayla and GG going to be duking it out on the open world. QGG coming on through with a huge Viper Zai V2, forcing Free into having to burn that Zip ultimate just to try and live a little bit longer. LXM is the reason that he tried to hold on as long as he possibly could. The longer that Zip stayed up, the more distance LXM was able to put between himself and the other team that came on through. Wolves now managing to pick themselves up Draco Storm alongside Bowder. JL going to be opting for Mystic Might, so a lot of aggression, a lot of additional AoE damage going to be coming out from the sides of Bowder and Wolves. JL with the Mystic Might going to have that damage reduction as well as the ability to see where players are going to be positioned. Both teams, though, with the same like-mindedness, go to not Celestial Imperium, so that they can find all of these players who lost the Yang fights, who are going to be coming out, drawn into the middle of the map, looking to try and find fights that they can take immediately, which opens up the door for Bowder, Wolves, and JL to try to come through in third party, as everybody who does not have a buff is going to be making themselves pretty scarce. The teams that do have Yang depletion do indeed head towards Imperium, but they delay it. They don't go immediately. Looked like they scouted out the area in soul form, saw the teams with the buffs rolling on through, and only after seeing them rotate into further aspects of the map do they actually come through Imperium, looking for a fight that they can try and take without having to worry about that third-party ability. BBE, you can see some of their players still in soul form. I've been trying to bait and see whether or not Wolves are going to take that action. Potentially wanted to try and make Wolves think it was going to be an easy picking 1 versus 3 for his players revived and tried to jump on top of them, but Wolves a little bit more cautious than their past selves back in 2021 and 2022, not going to be rising to it, and as a result, BBE, knowing that their timer does not get paused even when they're in soul form, have no option but to hit the revive and try and find a fight that they can actually take.
Another very important integral reason why these teams are waiting just a little bit longer before resurrecting is that it allows for the buffs of the teams in the lobby from either Realm of Yang or Spirit Well, allows for those buffs to run out just a little bit, and it is definitely a smart move. If you can mitigate some of that buff, it's going to be extremely useful in trying to take them down afterwards. But WBG, the Realm of Yang depletion, the scrap off here over at the edge of Imperium. It was looking really bad for WBG initially. Walker was literally on a pixel of health, but somehow manages to stay alive. The Karumi keeping him topped up, and now it's not looking too good for BBE. They have lost one of their members, and they only have the Karumi and the Matari left on their feet, both with Yang depletion. WBG, though, in a dire spot. Unfortunately for them, they get third-partied in this situation. They did manage to pick up a Soul Bloom for their Tumult, but Takeda does get forced down on by OUG and taken down and fully eliminated. And it looks as though the other member of WBG also does get taken down. Axiao on that support role, unfortunately, does get eliminated. And then the third as well. All 3 of them.
WBG
so unfortunate.
Entirely eliminated. It's really unfortunate. Like you said, Walker went incredibly low, was a sliver of health on that Takeda. It wasn't the Karumi that saved him first, it was the Temi ultimate. And the Temi ultimate is the thing that Sandsiphon uses to stop a third party from coming through. So because they had to use both the Temi and the Karumi ultimate to keep that Takeda alive, when that next third party came out, they had absolutely no resources to be able to peel that Takeda, and they just had to hope that he'd be able to act as a distraction long enough for his 2 teammates to just disengage unnoticed. Unfortunately, with where the fight was going down, right in the middle of Imperium, this is, as we've talked about, the area of the map that all of the teams rotate to when Yang depletion is in play. They know that this is where the majority of players are going to be stationed up at, and as a result, they're just not able to live through when all of the other teams show up for a piece of that action. GG on 4 kills. OUG, however, racing ahead. BBE's Ivan gonna be spotted out of his hiding spot. Gets stuck in the pot. Oh, they swapped it.
No.
And unfortunately, he gets absolutely boiled and stuck in a stew. As poor BBE's entire team just gets sent packing out of the lobby into the next one as OUG's SS takes a little nice moment of respite, applies the rest emote to be able to get that tuna procking. We're probably going to see that shared around the team so that they can all have that heal tick going, as in the meantime, Wolves have been just picking up the Soul Bloom, not Soul Bloom, Spirit Well, as we do have Petalful Flourish, a Universe Slash coming on out for Wolves Gem with those dual blades. Keep your eye on that one, because that does a whole chunk of damage if you are not expecting it to come on through, as well as how very fast it can come on out. That's going to be spammed on repeat, I have no doubt, for when the next Spirit Well contest comes out.
Indeed. That was, it always makes me chuckle when a team comes in and snipes away the armor that gets dropped at the Spirit Well. DRG Stamog just jumps in at 1,000,000 miles an hour, snipes the purple armor, and then immediately runs away again. It's always very funny to look at.
You can see the Looney Tunes style dust clouds just left behind
exactly.
in the form of a Temmie silhouette, and then he's just poof, gone.
Yeah. The tumult hole in the shape hole in a wall or something, just right on out of there.
Okay, slow down that wily coyote.
Yeah. But here we are. The 80% Moonbane is gonna be coming in and taking effect. Wolves looking to try and force a fight or an engagement onto GG. GG are not in a good position right now. They've only got 2 members alive, both of which only have blue armor. Oh my goodness, wait, what's going on there? Bowder getting fully toggled by an Aurora Burst.
Aurora Burst in play.
Oh no, CJS also in a bad spot. He's trying to make it out of there. The dash comes through, just managing to break line of sight. XEM did pull out the musket to try and shoot him down, but wasn't able to. Bowder instead is going to be the one to pick up the elimination on to CJS. The Wolves looking very strong right now. 6 eliminations total, double gold armor. We also have JL making a huge appearance in this game. 13 eliminations to their name. KLA on 7, OUG on 9, GG on 4, KLA on 7, DRG on 3. Unfortunately, not all that much, but it's recoverable. And then Bowder on 6. Quite a few teams left alive. 19 players in total. We have
Mystic, right?
Vipers as well.
That's
Mystic
Might.
Yeah.
We're okay. We're not gonna have the final snap coming on through. That's really unfortunate for KLA. Like, they really wanted to get this buff with a 10 high composition, and they haven't really been able to find it all that often. That being said, Godly patrolling on through with the charged army on the pulse. There's the Aurora Burst, which was the reason why GG got absolutely splattered against a wall in the building that we just saw come through, as JL going to be moving on in for the kill, safeguarding on through the space to cover that Farrier V freeze that KLA do not get to put someone into it. Wolves, however, trying to find the interruption with a Universe Slash leading into Dreadful Whale. That's going to be a lot of coverage with those 2 Soul Jades, and as a result, the Aurora Burst team have no choice but to reposition. This should be Wolves able to lock this one down. Like I said, if there's any team in the league that are the best at being able to figure out how to grab these Spirit Wells, it is absolutely, no doubtedly, going to be Wolves. Mystic Might acquired, ultimates regained. Wolves start to get incredibly aggressive. The Kylan ultimate and the Dreadful Whale! Bowder's you! We saw him for all of half a second before he absolutely disappears. Witch and teleport is in play. They should be able to pick his body up, given the fact that we don't see the Kylan find the dash follow through. We'll have to wait and see. Yeah, his portrait does look like it's potentially going to get colored in a matter of moments, but they have to be very, very careful that they don't just contribute more kills to the side of Wolves by finding that pickup, as Wolves still have the Kylan ultimate. Will be able to find another kill onto a player from Bida. This time it's going to be Yiran, who goes low, then goes down. Gem still having these dashes on the Kylan, an absolute menace to the lobbies. You can see KLA putting themselves into that tree, looking to just hide away unspotted as Bida's Peak puts himself into the tree this time around, uses that Tessa ultimate to just chase the Kylan from being able to find that follow-up. KLA's Godly into the Farrier V3. Chasing the Kylan a little bit further away so that Wolves are forced more into the middle of the map at the mercy of all of the other teams in the area. But even through that all, they're still able to keep an eye on where that last player from Bida went and pick up the kill. KLA's Godly still in this make, utilizing the cannon shots, trying to just push some of these players into that corruption tick damage, as well as give his team the opportunity of holding onto this high ground and finding a little bit of reset points as everybody does their best to not be the vulnerable ones that Wolves turn on to next, given the fact that Mystic Might is still going to be in play for the next minute. XX's not able to find the drop down Viper V1. Instead, aggressively gets punished with the Temi Wisp, goes so incredibly low. The Wuchen teleport has to be called in, but the beacon gives away where exactly OUG ran off to, and SS doesn't have the ultimate to be able to tank the damage as Aurora Burst is still in play, but Wolves with the drop down nunchucks looking to try and keep up the pressure. Tumultuous ultimate immediately going to be dropped from the side of DRG so they can try to recover, but KLA's Godly is the one on the field that everyone is having to run from currently.
The hands are coming out, ladies and gentlemen. Godley throwing out those fists, trying to pick up these grabs, trying to grab onto these players, but to no avail, unfortunately, just yet. Sending them out, he finds the one, Riku, but unfortunately, no, his ultimate times out in the final moments. However, Rico does go down at 2 Wolves. Wolves looking extremely strong right now. All 3 of them topped up, still holding on to quite a lot of their shield. XEM trying to tap dodge roll away. He is getting forced onto now by JL. TXJ gonna be able to pick up the kill onto XEM. The Zai ultimate is online, ladies and gentlemen. NHQ also gonna be taken down. No ultimate usage coming out from NHQ as well, unfortunately. Just not able to find the time to use it. DRG standing strong. KLA on top of the tree in the sky, trying to stay as inconspicuous as possible, staying out of immediate danger. DRG, Dongxing about to unleash the Takeda ultimate. Here it is, and it's time to send those fan RMBs. One Fang gets pushed into the zone, but the Kurumi circle is going to save him for the moment. The absolute chaos that is ensuing at the moment is absurd. Dongxing sending out those focus attacks, trying to find as much value as he can. His teammates trying to stay within the storm, in the safe zone. The F1's going to come through, and TXJ is going to stay alive until the last second with a lot of HP and a lot of smiles and a lot of kills, having picked up 10 eliminations at the very, very end. What a performance coming out.
It's the poison splash, Dunk.
Were only made a few days ago, less than a week ago. I don't imagine that was the initial reasoning behind these compositions. However, it could be a reason why they would want to continue playing it. I do agree with that. But off the rip, we're looking at FPX and a BBE. Unfortunately, BBE had a member caught out of position, potentially due to just the spawn location. And oh my lord, speaking of getting caught, Fat Milk gets caught out of the air and juggled, and BBE does go down. We're eliminated by FPX, but we're heading right on over to the southwest of the map. Moxie, EWG up against WBG. Let's see it. Oh my goodness! Fully unleashed the great. You
are getting treated to great sword gameplay today, but we are going to see the Valda F3 already going to be invested. And unfortunately for WBG, where this composition has its shortcomings, is getting third-partied. And also, early on in the round when your ultimates are not yet online to be able to provide the zoning for some of these other teams to get spooked away, disengage, and give you the time to be able to loot on up. Looks like Wolves with the Temi ultimate coming through from HQ will be able to find the isolation onto EWG as well as heading over. Oh no, Alliance, another rough beginning for this team. They're so close to that 70-point match point threshold. But Dunk, it really has
They've
not
rezzed
been
as well.
the
Oh
second half
no.
of the day, because yeah, they have. They've utilized their revives. They're just trying to get a couple more kills, but they're sending out the focus strikes. They get hit by the Tessa ultimate. NY7 is going to go down. Yuma is going to get removed. It's all falling apart for Alliance. I think one of their players is still in soul form. But oh my goodness, that is not the game that Alliance wanted to turn things around today.
I don't know. They need to recover mentally because this is looking pretty cooked. Speaking of cooked, the King, unfortunately, is going to get shifted up by Xiao's Zai ultimate, along with the rest of OUG. FPX now being forced onto by Bowder. Bowder having secured themselves the golden pulse sword from Salvation Podium. A very nice early pickup for Bowder. FPX, unfortunately, in a bit of a bad spot. They did have the Moonbane, it was theirs. However, they are going to get aggressed on by Bowder regardless, as they can recognize that this team likely does not have their cooldowns available and is already a man down, having taken down FPX's Karumi at the beginning of the fight. WBG also in the area with full blue armors, lurking to see if they can find a third party, but immediately all the teams in the vicinity have split up and disengaged.
They've got purple weapons though on both their Volda and their Tianhai. That is one of the criticisms that Volda has come under in the past, the fact that in comparison to something like Temi, where when you get stuck in the Wisp, you're stuck in the Wisp for the full duration. When you get hit by Volda CC, you get one hit and then you're broken free immediately. And that can be a hit from anybody, not just the Valdes team. Absolutely anyone in the lobby will break you free out of it early. So the Tianhai being able to find that grab is going to have to time it pretty precisely, as we are going to see GG going up against JL. LXM running away from the Viper, gets stuck into that Tessa ultimate. Tev is going to be hitting in just now. JL immediately collapsing on top of him with the first stage focus of that vertical spear hit coming on for Wu-Chen teleport immediately coming out of Free-Free-O's pocket. As a result, as JL's TXJ chases down Free-Free-O, tries to find the Viper stun, manages to find it. Free-Free-O wanted to break LOS behind that tree, but TXJ just able to thread it right on through. VVV now, however, is the one getting stuck into by the Tester enchantment. GG not going to be able to find the punishment. However, they've bought themselves the recovery space. That Tester ultimate was threatening enough that JL invested the Wu-Chen teleport, and LXM now is actually the one in control of this, given the fact that he held on to that Viper V1. They are going to be able to utilize that windowsill and break away from the LOS. LXM not able to find the follow-up or the forward chase down from Free-Free-O, who wanted to put pressure on with the charge verticals on the fan if that stun had been successful. Instead now moves on through, putting pressure onto the Wu-Chen, is putting himself into a 2 versus 1, trying to find the lockdown. Doesn't manage to get hit by that Tester ultimate, will be able to dodge it just in time, but does lose a massive chunk of his health and shielding for it. Can't afford to go for the reset, however, as this time GG throw out that Tester ultimate, catching onto JL's one thing. LXM's going to keep himself right next to that Wu-Chen, so he's not going to be able to get away from any of the stun follow through, as GG now are the ones starting to go a little bit too low. Both CJS and the Viper far too close to death And the Wu-Chen teleport comes back online again. And another fight reset is had for GG, as this time JL understanding that they have the better engagement and disengagement if the fight picks up a second time, with that Wu-Chen teleport coming back online for JL's One Fang in a matter of moments, looking to keep applying the pressure. GG, as a result, gonna be kiting back to that Forbidden Seal. No ultimates allowed. JL not gonna be having the advantage that they were looking for if they start to go a little bit too low. LXM opening out with a hit of that Viper. F is gonna get hit by the following Silence Harbor coming through from the other team, but the 2 versus 1, the spacing from GG is perfect. However, the charge vertical on the pulse sword fully committed from the side of the Wu-Chen. LXM going so incredible.
My lord!
Throws it out a second time. Will be able to find massive amounts of damage, but GG with the numbers advantage, gonna be able to live through it. And finally, the fight is put to bed between GG and JL.
That was so well played from GG. Insane. Actually insanely well played. Although I think they had slight advantage in terms of armor, but still, that was really nicely done. Punished the mispositioning, had their one teammate stall in the 1 versus 2, not get taken too low, immediately covering for each other whenever someone was low, and then immediately punishing the mistake of sending a focus in the other direction when there's somebody behind them waiting with a focus charge. You know, so well played. Very nicely done by GG, able to just win in the straight up neutral 3v3 no ult fight. Definitely a pat on the back for GG right now. Unfortunately for JL, though, they had their momentum cut down, having had 6 eliminations leading up to this point. Now forced to go and resurrect themselves elsewhere and look to recover their game. But we're going to be heading into this second phase of the game. Ladies and gentlemen, Realms of Yang are spawning in. Wolves, WBG, and I believe FPX all lurking at this Realm of Yang entrance, looking to go in. We have Wolves and FPX up against each other. KLA versus OUG. And Bowder versus, I couldn't see that last one.
WBG.
I want to see how well WBG do in that Yang, but for the moment, we've got Wolves up against FPX, Sand Siphon up against the Zai Siphon. ZK with that damage reduction, able to mitigate a lot of damage from that with that Kurumi tether. Very nicely done by the Kurumi. ZK now dropping down. The Kurumi circle is being activated. Both Kurumi circles now on the field. The Matari ultimate is in play. ZK just trying to stand up, he's just not being allowed to move. The Matari, the menace, constantly staggering it, pushing him down, not allowing him to stay standing. The beautiful Wisp follow-up off of that blue focus clank. Very nicely done by NHQ. ZK swerving around, trying to create openings with his ultimate. Staggers both of these players, and now the Zaya ultimate is going to respond, but it's not going to be enough to keep them all topped up. Xiao is going to get taken down. However, in response, XCM is going to be eliminated. NHQ extremely low HP. ZK playing the neutral engagement up against FPX is Junks. It's not looking too good though. There it is. All of a sudden it just disappears. They all disappeared. What happened to the other guy? I didn't even see him die. Scale Rush death.
Scale Rush with the hang sword coming through from Jun. Yeah, the Temi was literally, I think,
literally
10
1 health.
HP.
Yeah.
So Bida won against WBG. As a heads up, Alliance look like they went to a Spirit Well as they picked themselves up a Draco Storm. I believe they also have a bounty out onto Bowder, as GG going to be trying to figure out if they can third party some of these engagements, looking towards the outer edges of the zone. Alliance still have not moved in terms of standings. They haven't been able to put together a kill. They lost their first fight on the drop. Thankfully, they didn't salty run back into Plumed. They did decide to reposition and rotate over towards the city of Tang in the anticipation of that being one of the more contested aspects of the map when we started going into second circle. Unfortunately, this time around, there was no other team inside City of Tang, Silver Lining, it allowed them to get the space to be able to recover their loot disparity. Unfortunately, though, they're really not looking for loot. They just need 2 kills, and they'll be able to get past that 70-point marker. But now, they're going to be looking for those kills, while there are teams running around with Vermilion Bird's Might, weapons scaled off of a successful Realm of Yang, and teams that have Yang depletion that are going to be forced to take a fight, and as a result are going to be rotating to places that have things like bounty scrolls and putting them on teams nearby. Teams that unfortunately just find themselves with one. Alliance have a bounty placed against themselves by OUG. As we're going to be seeing WBG immediately rezzing directly on top of Wolves. So this fight is going to be getting incredibly aggressive incredibly quickly, as no one wants that third party opportunity. Wolves going for the full pressure onto WBG's Zhao, and Zhao is down. Valda F3 has been burnt. Tianhai ultimate is on the field, but unfortunately for WBG, we said that the problem this team would run into would be the Temi. However, Walker is able to find the grab onto the Takeda. The repeating crossbow and the cannon pressure coming through. No Temi ultimate, no Karumi Temi. He's able to find the grab onto ZK, but he's going so incredibly low. Goes close to being able to get a little bit of sustain back. This is the V2, not the V1. So every time Walker is able to find those, he will get a little bit of health back. But unfortunately for him, where's the peel from his team? It's going to come in the form of WBG Jing, who is going to put enough pressure onto the Karumi to force the armor circle. But that Tianhai is 1 versus 2. He's going to be finished up with the pole sword coming on out from Kakaishi. And it is all falling apart for WBG.
That is indeed rough, unfortunately, for WBG. They weren't able to win this fight. The Valda, just I think it was slightly due to the terrain and just like the perfect timing from the grapple into the focus. It's just a 2-man grapple combo, very nicely done by Wolves. Unfortunate for WBG, not able to get that ultimate online to fully mitigate the damage.
Wait, Alliance found 2 kills.
They did indeed.
Alliance must have found 2 kills onto OUG. If they can get this kill onto SS, they're past the 70-point mark.
I think they're okay. I think they're good. The thing is, as well, although you mentioned that there are going to be teams with the Vermilion Bird's Might and the the cannon shot. Oh,
can they get a kill or does he die to zone?
No, he dies to zone. It's okay. It's okay. It's not too bad.
Oh no, wait, 70.1. Okay, Alliance are clear.
It's because of the team. The team got eliminated, so they went up and got placement
the team got eliminated, so they get a placement point.
Yeah, very nice for Alliance. But yeah, they had Draco Storm, so like, yeah, it is. You do have to be very careful, as the Yang depletion teams will just full commit, and also the Vermilion Bird's Might teams will full commit because they can die without like actually dying. They can keep all of their stuff, so you do have to be careful of a Draco Storm can just be that oppressive. It's especially if you have your ultimates online at the same time. If you're dying, you're doing something wrong, because that buff is just crazy good for fighting. Even in multi-way fights, you just got the passive healing, the lightning strikes just hitting everyone. It's crazy good. Absolutely.
I mean, talking about multi-way fights, so it's gonna be potentially a multi-way MVP eligibility fight, because there's 3 teams who are all past 60 points right now. So true. Alliance are potentially, more than likely, not going to be alone in terms of being one of the teams that are past that 70 points and can, if they MVP, end the day early. GG, CDS, unfortunately, the last player standing for his team, has to fight that Tesla ultimate. Does he go into the realm of Yang? No, I thought maybe he might have gone for the Hail Mary of just put himself into the portal. I think he tried, but it might have been full. Yeah, Bida versus Wolves, WBG versus KLI. Unfortunately for CJS, portals were already filled. Even then, like, if he'd been able to go through, it would have been a 1 versus 3. Then again, he would have a new lease on life because he'd have Yang depletion, so he could potentially go to a Soul and maybe buy one of his players back. That being said, it is going to be Wolves, with ZK getting that Karumi tether, so full damage reduction in place, chasing after the Kylan on this Cardi composition is interrupted by the Hardy before he can hit in with that focus strike vertical from that spear. Kurumi armor circle has already been invested as well. Night HQ on this Temi go incredibly low. Wolves having to be very, very careful. They're going to take cover in Sanctuary inside that Tumult ultimate to give Night HQ that tether, as it is going to be ZK still not having that Takeda ultimate. He's going to take enough rage to be able to get it online. There it is. The activation of the V3 will be able to dodge the combo breaker coming on through from that Kylan. Free Fury shoves to his name is kiting the Kylan further away from his players, trying to catch him, but unfortunately the Temi has still gone down regardless. And now the pressure is going to come out onto his Kurumi, and it is going to be Gem going down. Barda now just having to clean up onto that Cicada. It was really risky. The fact that Wolves went into that fight without their ultimates actually built up really worked against them. They needed that Cicada ultimate online.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the fight did get stalled out somewhat. It's just it was an unfortunate situation. They double ulted and then the Bowder just cubed away. They lost so much value, weren't able to capitalize, and they ended up just having to try and fight the uphill battle with only the Takeda ult. It was definitely an unfortunate situation. You can't be double ulting when all three of the enemy team have cube up, because they just could leave, wait out the ultimate timer, and then come back with huge advantage. And speaking of huge advantage, KLA managed to secure themselves a Draco Storm buff, and they're looking pretty solid. 7 eliminations so far. They're one of the teams that are lurking in the top 6 in 5th place, 57.5. Could be a big game that brings them closer to that match point threshold. But Wolves is actually now... So one of the teams that had the chance to get match point threshold was GG, who have been knocked out in this game. Wolves, the other one, has Yang Depletion, and JL, although they are close, they're still about 8. They're still 8.3 points off of the threshold, so they are going to have to get quite a lot of kills, even though they've already got 7.
Wolves just ran directly over FPX. But I don't think they saw them because FPX are in a purple bush. There is a bell nearby, which they're probably going to hit.
It's going to be close enough.
But I don't think it's close enough. Yeah, they're not. They're not changing their kiting path. They have no clue that FPX were that close.
It's not looking too good. I mean, they do have 3.5 minutes. They will likely be able to find a team to fight. As we've seen quite a lot today, the Yang Depletion teams have not been able to recover that easily. The majority of the time has been death for them. It's not always the case, and it hasn't always been the case in the past. A lot of the time, a lot of the good teams are able to recover. However, today, it's not been happening as much. But oh my goodness, Bowder absolutely obliterating JL. Both players are down already, and now it's just a lonely Wu Chen teleporting his team away just to not be able to even res them. Immediately grappled after. Bowder is going to shut down JL in this 5th game of the day, taking away their chance of reaching that match point threshold and thinning out the lobby even more.
Oh, that's dreadful Whale Assassin's Lunge.
That
is a mean combo. Especially when we start getting into Spirit World contest territory. Keep your eye on Bowder's Hue, because if he MVPs, that dagger damage is gonna be huge. Wolves ZK now coming on through with the Takeda on that pole sword. Tries to come on out with the charged RMBs, chasing after Alliance, who are going to be putting themselves as far away from the scene as they possibly can. Wolves not going to be giving that one up, however. Going to be trying to figure out where Revenge has kited on off to, coming through with the horizontal follow-up Takeda ultimate to be able to lock the zipping down. Parry does come on out, but Fury shoves are being fully invested as Wolves want every single kill that they can get. This is a team that has Yang Depletion. This is a team that has no choice but to keep on fighting. as it is going to be the Zai ultimate and the Flamer barbecuing wolves from the outside. They had no choice but to keep themselves fighting, and they just get turned onto.
It's about to be zone 4. They're cooked.
The teams
They're cooked
in the area, they are absolutely, as you said, cooked. Alliance
it's over. They're all dead.
to make it over 70.2. No, they make it just in time. 70.7. They outlive another team. They knock Alliance out, which means that they get an extra point in standing. And in doing so, cross the threshold.
Oh my god.
So it is quite literally
we did what
by
we
a
wanted
millisecond.
to do. We met the objective. Very nice. Doesn't matter about nothing else matters. We got match point. That's what matters.
Yeah.
But,
JL unfortunately going to be denied match point eligibility. GG as well. This is all on, however, Bowder and FPX as well as K-Lake. These are the recovery games from these teams, a little bit far behind in the standings. We saw how quickly JL were able to bounce back off of one good game. And Bowder, FPX, and KLA all very much on track to be able to do something similar, especially with Bowder's setup. Currently, Spiritwell's going to be spawning on through. You can see Bowder already going to be starting to rotate over it. KLA having the exact same idea, however, so this is going to be potentially a contest. KLA is going to be showing off what they have in the pocket before Bowder do. Aurora Burst is confirmed. And as a result, Bowder not going to make a play for this one. This one does not have the buff. This one is not worth potentially going into that Aurora Burst AoE and getting silenced. They're going to be playing for something much more valuable if it is indeed White Tigers a little bit later on. That being said, potentially they do make a play for it. This QGG with the jabbing will be able to interrupt the Dreadful Whale before it can find its wind-up. There was another team that rotated close to potentially look for that third party. However, KLA were able to contest that Spirit Well, grab it up, and grab all of the loot as Bowder made a play and managed to grab some of the pickings left behind at the same time. 3 lots of legendary armor online for the Cardi composition. They very much rule the roost at the top of this rock formation.
Yeah, absolutely. Triple gold armor for Bowder, double gold armor for KLA. What is this? What's going on? We have the gold armor gamers, and then we've got blue armor blueberries literally running around. Just broke as all hell. DRG, double blue armor, 1 purple. WBG Jing on his own, the last man standing at blue armor, which just immediately disappeared, and now into a Tessa ultimate, gonna be forced to try. Can he? Wait, is he gonna get the blink? Ah, okay. I know exactly what he was looking to try and do there. He sort of stutter stepped for a little bit, and I think what he was trying to look to do was use the teleport, the blink, to iframe the Tessa ult proc, but unfortunately wasn't able to time it, and it does get eliminated. WBG now fully out of this lobby. But hey, KLA, DRG, they are in the top 6 right now, and they are looking to try and get as many points as they can so they can get close to the threshold. Bowder and FPX are having monstrous games for themselves. 15 eliminations for Bowder, 10 for the side of FPX. KLA on 7, DRG on 3. BBE, unfortunately, just not having been able to find their footing so far today, on 0 kills in this game as well. However, there is still more Naraka to be played, potentially even 3 more games after this one, so we will see.
Oh,
however,
that's
Alliance
Mystic.
and both in Threshold.
Mystic Might. Yep, I saw the blue. Yeah, there it is.
There
Mystic
it is.
Might.
Yeah. So
KLA were in position. Yeah, KLA were in position in case it was White Tigers. Bowder were also getting ready to make a play. It's interesting. It feels like last week we saw White Tigers so much more frequently. It is RNG, right? It is random chance. But it feels like, have we only seen White Tigers in the final zone today once?
I think it was
twice.
Twice.
I think we've seen it twice.
Yeah, and the previous Holoroth game, and then game 1, I think, was White Tigers as well. No.
Yes.
No. I can't remember. I think we've seen it twice.
We have definitely seen it twice, and I do believe it was the first game. that we saw previously. Is KLA, like you said, everyone sees this Mystic Might. No one's really wanting to make a play, especially since they know that KLA have the Aurora Burst, and it's just not worth having to invest your ultimates, especially given the fact that KLA are the only team. Actually, BBE do have the Temi too, but they're on 0 kills at the moment. Their loot is such in a rough state compared to everybody else. Bowder now trying to make a move. Karumi Circle comes on through. Some of these teams a little bit too late in those rotations, getting caught out. We heard the Tester ultimate going on off the Wuchen team, also having to invest that teleport to be able to rotate them away as KLA just run the clock down, camping out this buffer as long as they possibly can, essentially utilizing the dome much more importantly than the actual buff to be able to block all of the ranged attrition that is occurring outside of their camping spot. DRG gonna be dropping in for a little bit of an uninvited contest. However, it is only going to be temporary as BBE Roy He gets the Karumi Tower. That's then going to move on over to Ivan so that he can put pressure onto Dongqing, who is trying to come through the little bit of damage and pressure onto that Temi's left side. Bowder still not deciding to make that move. KLA still have not picked up this Mystic Might. They're going to use the Takeda ultimate. They'll be able to pick up the buff and get a second one online. And here's where KLA start to make their mark. 3 players onto one, onto Bowder they run into. Immediately, Takeda ultimate activation, Fury Shove into Aurora Burst follow-up. There's nothing Bowder can do. QGG coming through with the jabbing as well to set up into the cannon follow through. And Bowder immediately lose in the blink of an eye. 2 out of 3 players. What a push from KLA. What coordination.
Yeah, absolutely. A huge push from them, able to just obliterate Bowder and cut them down. Unfortunately for them, they're not going to be able to translate this 15-kill game of theirs into the potentially more points that they could have gotten from a first-place placement, as it is somewhat unlikely that the Lonely Hardy is going to be making it all the way to the very end and securing first place. However, we'll have to wait and see. For the moment, KLA is still in the spotlight. All 3 of them with golden armor. QGG ready to unleash yet another Takeda ultimate. Roy He does find the grab with the F1 onto the focus attack, but it's going to do absolutely nothing. Fat Milk getting pulled out of the air by the Takeda into the jabbing. Tries to catch him on the cross, not able to. Ibin, now the last member left alive for BBE. They have managed to pick up at least 1 kill. It's not going to be a 0-point game for them at the very least. DRG also still having 1 member left alive. A solo Wuchen still kicking, trying to stay in the sky, juggling at those F1 blades, throwing them down to maintain the height. Bowder, Yeran now being forced down onto the Hardy of the lobby, immediately being forced to use that ultimate, dropping the cube into the sky, going sky high, potentially going to try and get that full reset while up there. He does have gold armor to heal up, so it's not too bad. And now may look to try and stagger some of these players outside into the storm to see if he can pick up at least a few more eliminations, as eliminations mean a lot now with the newer rule system. FPX Xiao just eating a staff to the teeth, immediately just getting obliterated at the edge of the zone. Junks tries to make his way back into the zone using that F2 from the Matari, healing a small amount of HP as well, but it's not going to be enough to keep him alive. Yeran, now the last man standing, the only... Oh, he picks up the kill onto CXZ, but immediately drops down into the Cloud Weaver, into the jabbing, and is going to be taken down. KLA going to be confirming that first place placement. However, was it enough for them to take the MVP?
It was enough for them to take the MVP, but Dunk, it's more important. It was enough for them to be able to cross the 70 point.
Was it?
Because before that last kill came through, they were on 69.5. In comparison to what we normally get to see. 2 teams dropping on top of each other. Wolves and GG immediately going to be going head-to-head. Jam already being able to pick himself up. On rather not being able to pick himself up this place. That is just the normal slaps to come on through. GG are the ones who are setting up the slaps. CJS coming on through. They've been able to get their hands on a fan as well. LXM, one of the only players currently with a weapon equipped until Wolf ZK comes on through with the greatsword. However, Fireflies have been able to be nabbed. And it is going to be Takeda Ultimate on the field. CJS with a grayscale weapon, able to come through, find a little bit of zoning for his players, but Wolves take advantage and try to come through with a first stage focus on the charged R&B of that pulse sword. Wolves now going to be trying to come through with these dual blades, the slaps from CJS. Gem motion any of these charged attacks. Turns it onto the Takeda when he wasn't expecting to need to go for the slap to interrupt that build-up. And Wolves should be able to find the turnaround, surely. Tumult Combo Breaker going to be invested. Gem tries to go for the uppercut to be able to chase, gets put into the Wisp. But ZK with the greatsword will be able to find the kill. And that is the start that Wolves desperately needed.
Absolutely. Huge for Wolves here. I'm just having a great time watching these players slap each other to death. Hilarious. As we all very optimal slaps. You saw him. He was the crouch canceling the slap over and over, just like perfect framing it, just playing the neutral with the slap. You know, I bet you these guys have labbed the slap in 1v1s just to be able to successfully slap their way to an early game win off spawn, as it is somewhat necessary. However, on the other side, although Wolves has had a good off-spawn and got their off-spawn win up against GG, it looks as though KLA, another team who's in the match point threshold, who can take it all after this game if they get an MVP, has died off the rip, unfortunately for them. And it's not the best start for them. However, we've seen it plenty of times, you know, a team not having the best off spawn, able to fully recover and come back and do extremely well. So we'll have to wait. But for the moment, as it is a daytime Morris Isle game, we aren't seeing all that much action. We saw a little bit, obviously, off the rip in the Firefly Cave. We didn't see KLA's early game fight. But for now, I believe a lot of these teams are simply going to be trying to loot up. There might be a couple engagements happening from in a few minutes, but for the moment, very calm, very collected, and they're all going to be collecting all those purple weapons that they can potentially find, all the money as well, as a lot of teams have a lot of money strategies that allow them to purchase purple weapons early on, as opposed to having to loot them themselves and just get lucky out of a trove. As not only are you not able to find golden legendary loot out of normal troves and piles on the ground, but you can't actually find purple weaponry or armor out of anything but a gold pile. So it has to be a legendary pile for you to be able to find a epic weapon rarity or epic armor. It looks as though one of those engagements is going to be taking place here. The Moonbane coming down for WBG, doing a lot of damage, doing a lot of work up against Bowder. The Moonbane, no. Bowder's U unfortunately gets clipped at the very edge of that hit. He is going to get taken down, and now Yeran gets hit with the stomp. No follow-up, unfortunately, as Yeran's able to use that Tumulk Wisp, that Tumulk F to disengage, but he's not going to be surviving for much longer, and WBG is going to take him down, picking up 2 kills very early on and maintaining their Valda ultimate ready to go if they are aggressed on by the teams lurking at the edges.
Speaking about as well, WBG have been able to find purple armor. We saw it when they were in Celestra. Sleepwalker was able to... There was a legendary trove right next to the Soul Altar over the bridge in Celestra, and he was able to find himself purple armor, but he's given it to the Matari instead of using it for himself, because as we talked about, Matari doesn't have a combo breaker. However, DRG catching WBG not paying attention. They were too busy looking at that shop, and immediately are going to get turned on to. Cavalry Bloom is there for Walker to be able to keep himself out of the range of DRG, swap over to the musket, and put a little bit more pressure onto the Kylan and Hardy composition coming on through, building up the rage. It's not the cannon though, so he's not getting multiple hits onto these players. Does find a nice parry onto Kakaishi. Overholds, uses the F1 to be able to break away before the uppercut confirm can come through into the longsword. And it is now going to be on cooldown as WBG with the positioning put themselves into the 2 versus 1. Sleepwalker has built up enough rage in the meantime to be able to get this ultimate back online, goes for the stomp, puts pressure onto the players. From DRG, he has lost his Valda, and it is going to be Kakaishi with this Hardy ultimate playing Fly Swatter, but unfortunately for him, he goes a little bit too close to that Tian Hai, has to utilize the cube. Walker does try and find the reverb grab. He sees the Hardy utilize that, tries to turn it around and get the grab. Will not be able to find it. Have they been able to find the revive? Because here comes OUG with the third party on the Xiphon composition. And no, WBG were not able to pick up their Valda and instead lose more of their players because OUG waiting in the wings saw the commitment of the Tianhai ultimate, saw that there was nothing to cover it once that ultimate had dropped out and time it perfectly.
Absolutely. Very nicely done by OUG, biding their time and jumping in at the perfect moment, perfect opportunity to come in and snipe away these kills when they have the clear advantage. Now, Wolves, having won their off spawn with 3 eliminations, currently in the lead. If you look at the 3 teams in match point threshold with 3 eliminations, looking to do a little bit of shopping and potentially take a fight against OUG there and DRG as well. But KLA now going up against JL out in the open to the southwest of the map. CXZ flying through with the cleaves on this Kylin ultimate, trying to find the CC, trying to lock these players down and knock them out of this Kurumi circle. The zipping ultimate is now going to be used. CXZ waiting for just a little bit longer so that he can regen more of his health, so he can get some more of these slashes. But unfortunately, I think he waited just a little bit too long, and now his ultimate is down, and he's not going to be able to get any more value out of it at all. 17S is in a bit of a bad spot, getting fully committed on by the members of JL. BPV with this Zai ultimate is going to take him down. And now BBE coming in to see if they can snipe this team with no ultimates. It's not looking good for KLA though. They've lost a member. They need to recover, and now Realm of Yang is spawning in, and they're not going to be able to go in.
Oh, we're gonna have Realm of Yang, Wolves versus Alliance. This is a big game. Wolves and Alliance are 2 teams that are MVP eligible for this round. Are we going to see one of them being able to find this win? Who's going to be hit with Yang depletion and have to find the recovery? Revenge with that Takeda puts the pressure onto the Kylan. So far, no ultimate has come through. However, Alliance are turning this into a 2 versus 1, already forcing that Kylan into investing into the Hardy Cube to be able to break away. Revenge now comes on through with that Takeda V3, Kylan V2 also on the field. That Kylan incredibly low. The Kurumi armor circle is going to come through. The Zipping also going to be popping her ultimate to be able to keep up this chase as the Temi ultimate gets invested on the side of Alliance so that they can cover from that Kylan dash through potential. Revenge goes back into the Kurumi armor circle, gets the Teva to be able to get the damage reduction as a couple more Kylan dashes cleave on through the composition. No more shoves available to him, but the scoop set up for the charge vertical on that fan follow through. We're now into the neutral. Alliance's Revenge already having lost that tumult up against the numbers. Disadvantage now, having to find any moment that they can to clutch it out. Revenge with the charge verticals on that fan. Going to be trying to mind games up against the Kylan that he gets hit into with the grapple bump and has to break away. Goes for the 180 to be able to throw out the fan vertical. 46 seconds left. Can NY7 get the Teva back online to help his Takeda as Revenge is getting pressured by that Z-Ping? The Kurumi Teva will be able to come through. As a result, Revenge feels the need to be able to throw the charge vertical. He gets the Teva snap as well to be able to get the full damage reduction, but he gets hit into by the horizontal follow through from that pulse. And Wolves with the card composition and the Z ping, will be able to win out the fight. Alliance get hit by the Yang depletion, lose out on the scaling priority for the Takeda V3, and Wolves get 3 extra kills as well as Vermilion Bird's Might to patrol the entirety of this overworld and keep the aggression rolling.
Absolutely. That was possibly one of the most integral and important fights of this game. Wolves eliminating Alliance in this situation. Alliance now tasked with claiming Soul Blooms so that they can cleanse the Yang depletion. It's not going to be easy. Wolves as well immediately coming out of the realm of Yang, fighting, going straight into a fight against OUG, and it's looking pretty decent, although as I say that, NHQ has been taken down extremely low. The zipping ultimate is in play. It is passively healing him over time, but he needs to kite for just a little bit longer so that he can get more of this healing. XEM now, having lost quite a bit of his armor, healing up as well, delaying the slashes, goes in for 1. Now extremely low. OUGSS is going to take him down. However, as we said, he does have that Vermilion Bird's Might. It's not the end of the world. And now Alliance finding the perfect timing, the perfect opportunity to jump in and try and get these Soul Blooms. They're not out just yet, ladies and gentlemen. Alliance are not going down without a fight. It could have been extremely bad if they weren't able to find this opportunity, but they are able to do so and cleanse all 3 Yang depletions, and they're back in the game.
Crucially as well, I don't think there's any team close to them potentially looking for that third party. Even if there is, we've been able to hold on to both the Kurumi ultimate and the Temi ultimate, as JL now are going to be going head-to-head with Bowder. VVV, the Zai V2 is going to be able to clear up Yiran very, very quickly. JL very much not playing around. They're so close to hitting past that 70 point. Unfortunately for them, their destiny is not entirely in their hands. They have to stop Wolves, KLA, and Alliance from MVPing if they want the chance to be able to walk away with this bi-weekly finals win. They're going to try and chase down Bowder's U. Could also get run into PvE's Aizen, and they don't know that these 2 players are on 2 different teams. They're going to try and pry the Takeda. They've seen him already utilize that F ability. VVV trying to just find that 3 versus 1 lockdown onto you. They've been able to pick up the kill. Peak now is the one that JL are going to be turning onto. As KLA, oh, it's really not looking good for this team. 17S already down, QGG on blue armor, and CXE having to pop the Kylan ultimate and just kite out the attention of EWG in the hopes that he gives his Hardy the opportunity to live a little longer.
That's so unfortunate for KLA. They're falling apart at the seams. And, well, I mean, at least QGG was a million miles away and was in no danger of getting taken down alongside his teammate. And I believe as well that they may have just bought a rebirth charm and are going to be able to pick up one of their team members. However, it's still not looking good. If you're ever missing a teammate, it's always going to be very dangerous, and you're going to have to play extremely carefully if you want to stay alive. Wolves, though, on the other hand, 3-man strong, looking at very, very powerful right now. Oh, no. Oh, not like this. KLA, QGG gets spotted out by this team, by WBG. He does manage to make it over to the tower. As I've said quite a few times, this is one of those perfect spots to be able to kite up and down, all around, ring around the rosy style, as it's so unbelievably hard to catch a player, especially if they've got a fan or a dagger in their inventory so that they can just scale rush at 1,000,000 miles an hour. Not only does he have that at his disposal, but he also has the Hardy ultimate ready to go at a moment's notice if need be. Here we go. The Hardy ultimate is going to be popping down that cube. I'm interested to see if he instantly cancels. He does. Yep. Instantaneously canceling, and WBG give up the chase. They know that it's not worth it.
They're prioring the realm of Yang. They're going to be going against Alliance, though. Alliance put themselves into the realm of Yang, having lost the first one that they played against Wolves. They're going to try and recoup some of the kills that they're lacking by putting themselves into a second realm of Yang. This is so risky if they lose it. Temi ultimate immediately going to be invested from Yuma. looking to find the isolation drop down. They are up against, yes, this is WBG, so the Temi ultimate is going to be invested to stop Walker from being able to find those grab potentials, but Jing with the Valder and the Cavalry Bloom pushing Revenge away from that pillar so he can't hide from the grabs, and NY7 has been plucked up, will get thrown out. Kurumi gonna have to utilize that armor circle. Takeda already invested so many of his Furin shoves at being able to peel for his players and try and keep his Kurumi alive, has been able to do his due diligence and keep NY7 up into things. Gets the Takeda F activation. Jing now overholding with the Hong Sword to be able to go through for the charge vertical, but the charge vertical from Revenge's fan is doing more damage. The Valda F3 is going to be invested. The parry does come through, and Revenge is the one that's going to be able to find the follow-up. Jing throws out the 180 behind him, but unfortunately will not be able to throw it directly into Revenge's face. Was just using it to try and put a little bit more pressure and zoning away from the Takeda. But that was the fight that Alliance desperately needed to turn things around. Unfortunately for them, Wolves might win another Realm of Yang themselves. Huge parry from Gem to be able to follow up into the horizontal punishment onto Frufrio on that Kurumi. And this is Wolves. Just an absolute masterclass. So many of these players, every single time they think that Takeda is going to commit that focus strike, going for that jump parry, just in the off chance that he uses the tap dodge to charge up into the next stage of those fist blades. And Wolves indeed pick up another 3 kills, another buff, and all of the ensuing aggression that's going to follow when this buff continues.
Absolutely. Wolves. Let's go. Wolves and Alliance. Alliance, you know, slightly less so. They're still lacking a few kills that Wolves has already managed to secure, but they are working their way up. They had a bit of a rough time early on, but they are clawing their way back into contention. They can do it. Only 3 points behind Wolves, so it's still very close. However, I'm sad to say that QGG did end up going down at some point during those Realms of Yang, and KLA is fully out of this lobby. So if Alliance or Wolves manages to take the MVP home, then KLA will have died and not been able to capitalize on the previous game's pop-off to get to this match point threshold. But it looks as though, what do we have here? WBG and Wolves very, very close to each other. Wolves ever so slightly hesitant to immediately engage, I believe, as NHQ does not have ultimate ready just yet, as they opted to go for the Draco Storm pickup instead of White Tiger's Prowess or Mystic Might. However, I do think they could have potentially tried it. And
I mean, they
as well
could have, but it is Tianhai, and they don't know because they went for Draco Storm. Other teams probably went for Mystic Might. Alliance went for White Tigers, but the usual rotation that we see from second Realm of Yang is Mystic Might, so they're not happy with the lack of information that they have. It's close to the edge of the zone. It's in a place that a lot of these teams are going to rotate to for looking for kills, because Shipwreck is one of those places that a lot of teams do like rotating into, and the risk of getting grabbed by a Tianhai and then being third-partied by another team is too great. Wolves have their eye on their prize. Like, they have 9 kills. They know that they need to be able to play for these Ferret Wells. They know that they need to be able to play for endgame, because they're not the only ones who can end the day early. Like, this is just immediately showcasing how far Wolves have progressed from when we saw them in NBPL back in 2022, because like in 2022, Wolves would have been after that kill. They would have been fighting in the zone. But this time around, they have that understanding. They have that macro level where they figured out that they don't need to take every single kill. They just need to take the ones that matter. And the ones that matter right now is putting pressure onto WBG inside a no-ult zone, because the Tianhai is absolutely weak and harmless if he can't utilize the ultimate to be able to refresh his health bar as zone plays away. Something that is shown in the fact that, unfortunately for WBG, Walker goes down in a matter of moments. Wolves putting themselves directly into the middle of the fray, finally getting to utilize Draco Storm the way that they've been looking to for additional AoE lightning damage on players pushed up and stacked in together. And Wolves are going to be able to put themselves from 9 kills to 11 absolutely running away with this game. They might even be able to find another, because BBE's Fat Milk is still behind, trying to find the revive onto the players, and Wolves surely spotted out.
Wait, no, he
did they miss Fat Milk? Just crouching?
Oh, okay. Alrighty then. But the thing is, they turn their attention over to the other players close by, and perhaps this is actually the better decision, as the other team that is close by, one of them is Alliance. The competition for them right now to take home the cake, to take it all home now. EWG lurking at the back. Wolves still lurking, waiting. The Wolfpack biding their time. They smell the blood. They know they're about to unleash. But the revenge on Alliance is continuing this pressure onto EWG and WBG. However, not overcommitting. Wolves are waiting for that overcommitment, and it looks as though Axiom may have been caught out. Immediately dashing over to the Moonbane. Might get clipped here. This could be the end. Oh no, he's getting out of there. XCM not looking to continue the chase. The Moonbane is still active for a little bit longer. Alliance managed to find the kill though onto Axiao. Axiao runs from the Wolves right into Alliance Revenge, into that Dragon Roar. XCM now following up, looking to see if he can find that player that he let go, realizing that he was taken down by Alliance here. Wanting to go for the reset, taking a little bit of damage from the cannon fire. EWG right behind them, forcing them to move forwards. They're forced now to chase down Alliance, make sure that they're not being sandwiched in between multiple teams, while Alliance are chasing down JL. JL is chasing down a white armored Dongxing, and Dongxing is between them and GG. It's just a chain of teams at the edge of the zone right now.
I'm pretty sure that's gonna be a White Tigers, as Alliance putting all of the pressure onto JL, trying to push them into the Corruption 6 damage, already putting themselves into the position to be able to contest the Spirit Well, but so too are Wolves. What is the buff, given the fact that Alliance and Wolves and JL are all in the area? I would assume that there's a high chance that this is going to be White Tigers, as it is going to be the Kurumi Tower getting attached for Alliance to start to make their move and try and hold their ground. Spirit Well incredibly close to being capped out, but they still have to back on off as Wolves now take the opportunity to come on through, putting themselves into the position. What buff is it going to be?
No buff.
No buff comes on out, as everyone is now going to back on off.
I thought it was the buff Spirit Wild as well.
We still got the Moonbane.
It feels like we were later in the game.
This lobby has been going so aggressively quickly. It's because Wolves are already on like 11 kills. Alliance, I think, are up to 9. So everyone there was just posturing up to be able to find the better loot scaling, which is really important for the Takeda compositions, but also for the Cardi comps, because your Hardy damage scales off of the rarity of weapon, your Kylan ultimate scales off of the rarity of weapon. You also want to make sure with the Zip that you can get your hands on the legendary armor so that your support system is much tankier in comparison to all of the other Zips running around on purple that are easy pickings and can get shredded down in comparison to everything that the Kurumi brings to the table. Now we're going to have the Bane's Breath. The next Spirit Well is going to be the one that has that buff up and available, but you can see how close it is, because Wolves and Alliance aren't the only two teams that have been able to put together a big number of kills. JL is also on the board with 11. DRG have 6. WBG and GG posted on up with 7 too. This really is going to come down to which of these teams is able to pick up that Spirit Well, which buff is inside the Spirit Well, and how everybody else in this lobby reacts to it. Alliance have to be so careful that they don't try and overextend their aggression, because yet again we can see that posturing up to cap the Spirit Well, the Dreadful Whale has been picked up for these players to be able to hold down this space. But this exact purpose, they're not really getting contested just yet, but we can still see a couple of ranged fire shots coming on through from the likes of JL and GG, who are up on the high ground above and opposite them, as it is going to be potentially that fire tick proc that pushes the difference between Wolves and Alliance. Alliance with the Kurumi, Wolves with the Z-Ping, Wolves putting themselves on top of Bell Tower. Spirit Well is going to spawn on up. Who's going to be able to grab it out? The contest is going to be the Alliance with the Dreadful Whale repeat into the charge R&B, but the Wisp catches them mid-Dreadful Whale, and immediately it's followed up by the Flamer coming on through from GG. Tumult Ultimate now going to be invested. GG seeing an opportunity, move in for the position of this Spirit Well buff. CGS with the charged verticals on that fan. BBE's Ivan having to turn the charged R&B on the pole sword or risk it getting parried away as GG surely are going to be able to cap this. But here comes JL looking for that contest. CGS swapping over to the cannon since he walks into that dome. And we're going to see the Kurumi Tether get broken immediately for Wolves to be able to tank the 90% damage reduction and put the pressure onto GG as the Kurumi armor circle gets put into place. Duncan, this Spirit Well is so contested. We know exactly what's going to be inside this without having to see the icon. Alliance going to be making themselves
Mystic Might.
It's Mystic Might.
Yep, it was Mystic.
The Mystic Might. Every single one of these players just wants to get any form of advantage that they can over the teams that are MVP eligible, because GG with that damage reduction and the knowledge of where all of these players are can get so aggressive and grab so many of the kills that they're lacking.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to go on to say that I think Mystic Might, although it is not usually the most contested buff, White Tiger's prowess, obviously, for very obvious reasons, is contested more often and more heavily. However, in this kind of zone, with all of these buildings, all of these little nooks and crannies, hidey holes, whatever, what have you, Mystic Might could actually come in pretty clutch. You might be able to spot out quite a few players lurking and either prevent yourself from getting jumped out of nowhere and just getting fully assassinated, or to isolate certain players, recognize which players are on their own and don't have teammates. It can be very useful in this specific scenario. But I mean, at the end of the day, having any advantage is always going to be good. JL, TXJ managing to find the kill onto WBG Jing. How many players on WBG are still alive? I don't think it's... The Valder is down. The Tianhai is the last...
it's just the Tianhai.
Yeah, he's down there in the bottom left, hiding, using Tuna, biding his time,
next to Alliance.
He's right next to Alliance. Ooh,
he's right next to Alliance. He skirmishes out to be able to reposition. But Wolves get a kill on the BOG's Kakaishi in the meantime. Wolves put themselves up to 13 kills. JL's on 12. Wolves on 13. It is an absolute race for every single one of these last hits for these teams to be able to walk away with MVP. JL could potentially be the team that guarantees that we go into game number 7. Alliance coming through with the meter dump as well as the Dreadful Whale. WBG Sleepwalker trying to keep himself out of notice, but it looks like Alliance have been able to collapse on top of him. Tianhai's F1 already being invested. He's probably going to have to go for the ultimate, but unfortunately that's going to reveal his hand because everyone's going to see the Vulture transform now come through. But Sleepwalker went solo. He has no choice. This ultimate needs to be able to find something, but he's getting so pressured out by every team in the area. He runs into GG.
Absolutely
and it's EWG to find the kill. Wolves and JL both tied on 13 kills apiece currently, as we might well go to heal off. But Dunk, this is going to come down to the absolute wire. GG starting to make that play, putting pressure on the players above on the rooftop. CJS gets that Kurumi Tether, pushed on up. LXM now gets the Kurumi Tether to get into range to use that Flamer as CJS with the cannon manages to keep applying that fire tick, and it does enough. JL forcing to utilizing that Kurumi armor circle far earlier than they would like. Alliance now out on the lower end, trying to catch on some of these players, looking to take cover and find those reset points. Going to be dropping in with the Tumult ultimate and catching absolutely everybody in between themselves and the zone corruption damage. Wolves still fully alive. EWG's Luwei goes so incredibly far out of that zone. The Tummy ultimate making it so much harder for everybody to get back into the safety with storm damage. And here it comes.
Look at this!
XCM with the Kylo ultimate crashes through one, crashes through two, gets another dash. Is trying to be the last standing. Wolves might just have done it.
I think they may have just done it, Moxie. They had 14 kills. They had 3 less than JL, but the first place finish is going to secure the victory.